Evening, people. Welcome to Football with Brownie. Hope you're well, keeping safe, keeping each other safe, and spreading the love during this pandemic. Because we all need a little bit of loving. But, right, go on.
Welcome to Football with Daya and Brownie.
We've ended our lovers' tiff. We have ended our lovers' tiff. The latest lovers' tiff.
I gotta go now. I gotta go down to Brass House.
Anyway.
The truth will come out tonight, Brownie. While you
Leave it out. Leave it out.
92. I used to live by there, remember?
Right. Here we go. Right. Before we go any further, yeah? Right. Look at the ticker bar down the bottom. Because it's starting to grow now. Finally, your subscriptions are starting to go. Please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to Football with Brownie. Right? Then you got the YouTube, the Twitter, sorry. Then you got the Facebook. And then it will come round the Instagram. Right. Daya, how are you, my old friend?
Well, Brownie, I've forgiven you now.
No worries. Let's move on.
I was ready to go live on air. I know I bring in your most numbers of viewers.
Right, we'll move on.
No, we'll carry on. And you stood me up. I get a text message from you. An hour later, I'm down the Brass House. Right. Then I get another message. I've shot me load. Right?
Leave it out.
And then you said, "Can we do it around midnight because my mate's going upstairs in the Stark 92."
Right. Listen.
No. I want an apology on air, Brown.
Okay, I apologise.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Go to the Brass House in 24 hours.
I will apologise. You all know it was my fault. I was.
And then I read your bullshit then on Twitter of how you were.
Right, come on. We move on, Steve. We move on. Right. Why have you got your smoking jacket on?
Because I'm back on the show. Time for a big supper.
Because it's Wednesday.
Just got to shut the door, Browner.
I'm on a coffee.
Just got to shut the door.
All right. I'll go for the comments as we speak. Anyway, here we go. Okay, my favourite show. Well, it could be my worst. I'm Matthew. Hi, Mr. Bundle. Hope you're well, my friend. Matthew, where's Steve being? Well, we've already got right. Brownie, you're late by an hour and 40. No, I actually put it in Steve's capable hands. So what time did he want us to go live tonight? And Brownie late as usual. Steve, you were
late.
Your arrangements have made me late in the eyes of people watching. But
I had to watch the end of Coronation Street. Right.
Right. It's been a couple of weeks, so we'll have to catch up before, obviously, what's been going on in the last 48 hours. Cool. You're a West Ham fan, Steve?
Well, I think so, mate.
I know. But you got
50 years, West Ham, mate. 50 years.
Yeah. What do you think of the last few games?
West Ham.
First of all, let's say the 3-3 with Arsenal. Then the 3-2.
We covered that one before. Well, the 3-3, even when we were 3-0 up, right? You think to yourself, right? And you know what I've done? I went upstairs, got my old Bobby Moore shirt, and went next door to the apartment next door out on their balcony, and they had their washing line out, and so I hung me they're Arsenal fans, so I hung up my Bobby Moore shirt on their washing line. 20 minutes later, I was back sneaking out trying to get it without them seeing it. I got caught. But no, it was going to happen. I don't know. We just seem to fall apart a bit, mate, when we get free up.
Yeah.
And then when it happened again. Then, so there we are. We got.
You went then. You went a bit weird then. Yeah. Anyway, right, and then on to the Wolves. Well, let's fast forward the Newcastle game because the results up until the Newcastle game, the results were
Well,
really going. We're going for West Ham. The opening for fourth place was there.
I'll text my son, who's West Ham, obviously, and I said I don't in the morning. I don't fancy his game today, Newcastle.
Yeah,
we're going to sit deep, and we ain't going to deal with it. And we're thin on the ground now. You know, our squad ain't big enough at the end of the day.
No.
Right, and I knew we'd be in trouble, but we were lackluster. You know, stupid errors as well, wasn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Dawson's been awful for a few weeks. I know our little mate Jake likes him, but
I agree. Something has told me, you know, because the problem is you've got Ogbonna, who's been injured. I mean, I think if Ogbonna has been fully fit, I think Diop would have replaced Dawson by now.
Yeah, I think so as well. But at the end of the day, right, he's done well for us.
Yeah,
everybody raving about him, and I've been watching him, and then the hype takes over, doesn't it? And he ain't been that good for a few weeks, mate. To be honest,
he's just a good organizer.
I think you know he's a cheap buy, wasn't he? Cheap buy, and he's peaked. We've seen the best of him. Right? You know, it's like he's gone to play for a big club, isn't he? Right?
Yeah.
He's got the oomph, and then he's sort of fallen away a bit. But I'm not going to knock him because he's done well for us this season. So
you got Chelsea now next then.
Say again. Yeah, I don't fancy Chelsea now, mate. I think this is where, sad to say, I think we go on the slide like we normally do.
Sit or bust against Chelsea. You never know. You know what the animosity is between. Okay, there's no fans there, but it's definitely, you know, it's a dislike between the two clubs, Chelsea and West Ham.
Like
Always has been. So it's shit or bust. If I agree.
I just can't see it, mate. I can't see it. Be honest, that new Chelsea manager, the German's doing all right, and our squad ain't.
Oh, he's gone again.
I'm still here.
Yeah. No, he's freezing.
We're missing Declan Rice, obviously, and that's a big loss to us. Right?
Yeah.
Antonio, missing him now. You know,
well, he got bloody hamstrings like breadsticks, really.
Yeah.
They go every 2 months.
Yeah. And our squad's not just not big enough, mate. You know.
I know. It's not just West Ham's squad. I think everyone's squad now because the season's so crammed, as it is, you know, crammed because it you know, COVID. I just think that I just think the smaller squads who before this season could kind of like cut corners a little bit on numbers and quality. I think there's no way they're doing it this season, and you know it's even shown in the likes of Villa and Everton and so on.
Yeah, this reminds me of 1986, mate, when we should have won the league, right?
That was a weird season.
Oh, we were class all the way through. You know, we should have won the league that year, which wouldn't have been the Premiership, would it?
That was the one where Everton were either 9 or 13 points clear of Liverpool.
Yeah,
and Liverpool caught them up.
That's right.
Guy Lineker stopped scoring, and he blamed it on his football boots.
If it weren't for the tight running it we had, I think we'd have won the league that year. But again, different time, wasn't it? But I was only in it then. But I was about 20, I think. But I thought we were going to win the league that time, mate. But I think if the FA do the right thing, right, with these plastic glory hunting clubs coming and going back and forth to Europe as they are, right? Should all be stripped of points, and that means that West Ham are 9 points clear of the Premiership. And
well, we'll get to that because
I just want to get the point in, Browner. I just want to get the point in that
I know.
That West Ham really deserve the Premiership this season. When losing Chelsea on the weekend.
How about Leicester?
No, we're not. We're clear of them.
No, you're not.
Yeah. You have a look at the league when they take out the plastics, right?
Well, Leicester third.
No. But the way it works is so you get the 3 points if you've played those teams. It's the way it works, mate.
All right, okay, all
There's
right.
a point
I
where they do it.
believe you.
If a team gets kicked out the league,
Yeah.
right?
So all the points are void, then, you mean? All the games against them are void.
Get the points. The team gets the points.
Right, okay.
Something like that, anyway. But I've seen it. We're 9 points clear, mate. However it works out, we are 9 points clear.
Right, let's go back into the comments first. Let's go back into the comments. Where were we? Matthew said, Brownie, you should start taking this podcast more seriously. I am, mate. Honestly, with my other work, I tell you, it's. I mean,
Mr. Brown
I
couldn't take anything serious in his life.
I go out of my way to get, ex-footballers on.
Daya?
Ambassador to the UK as well.
Yeah.
Further ex-footballers. So if I'm not taking a podcast seriously, I tell you. John Wayne is in the house. Howdy, John.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
Let's hope he's not walking like John Wayne after this podcast.
Well, let's hope he hasn't been up the brass house like you.
Right, Corey's such a classic, Matthew says.
Yeah, good, well done, Matthew.
Will says, how are you doing, mate? I'm very well. How are you doing, Steve? Tom, all right, guys. So relieved the so-called Super League has collapsed.
Yeah, I'm not. See, Browner, I'm not.
Oh well, we'll go into it now. Let's get. Randy said Steve is so entertaining.
Thank you, Randy.
Well, Randy, I tell you what, you must have a funny mindset. I tell you. Scottish Football Daily Podcast says hello. Hi, mate. How are you doing? Lou too. Hi, Brownie and Daya.
Cheers, Lou.
Brilliant night for Hibs. Yeah, I think they won, didn't they? Yeah.
All right,
beat Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Beat Aberdeen and okay, and John Wayne was from Steve. Right, Randy says, Steve, what is Brownie's worst habit?
Okay, now. With Randy, he's got a fucking few, right? But the worst one is when you go to the pub with him, right? The way he's spitting in your face, right? Which you can't do. But when he does it with a mouthful of beer, it's worse. But I can tell when we were down the pubs, the football pubs in Vengarola, I haven't been, Randy, where he hasn't spilt a pint over me. At least once. One afternoon, he had a hat trick. Right? I had 2 wet legs and a wet shirt. Seriously. And every time you go for a pint with Brown, about a third pint, he knocked one over the table.
That was in the old English round.
He starts fuck-assing about, right? Messing with his phone and this knocks the beer everywhere. that time, he actually left his phone in the pub and all.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
He's a fucking walking nightmare, Randy.
I did, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my phone until the Monday. That was a Saturday night.
Yeah. That's his worst habit. I'll do his second worst habit next show.
Scottish Daily Podcast, Steve, you're a legend, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
How did you become best mates, Tom?
Fucking hell. Right. Well, it was Scottish Football Daily Podcast. He was the local councillor for Merthyr Tydfil. And me and me mate.
It was the worst job I've ever had in my life. It was the worst job. I should never took a pay cut.
But me and me mate were going to buy a football club. And Merthyr Town. And we had a little plan together to get them into the Football League and whatever. They were non-league.
Oh, he's gone again.
We come up against the hurdle.
Hang on, you need to go back a little bit now because you wet your floors again.
Oh, where did we get to?
Just buying the club.
Oh, so we're buying the club. So we got the money together and we had a deal with the owner. But then we came across a hurdle with the Supporters Trust. which was a nightmare. So
yeah, he was.
we got contacted by the local councillor for Merthyr.
Yeah.
Time. He was a bit of a controversial character. So we put him in charge to deal with the trust. He failed.
Talk about a suicide mission. Talk about suicide mission.
And so that's how I first got to know Browner. And then he had an office down by my office in Cardiff Bay.
That's right, yeah.
So I moved. And but yeah, known him for years, mate. Known him for years. And he came to Spain to work for me. You know, I had to sack him 3 times then. No, that's right. I resigned. You didn't resign, you got fired. You resigned once, you got fired 3 times. But apart from
that. Right. Randy's laughing. Jesus, Brownie. Oh, jeez, I tell you. Brownie, you need to watch Daya doesn't go on his own and start his own channel. Oh, believe me, I know Daya's...
No, Daya's what?
I was gonna say, Daya's watching his numbers on his channel at the moment, and you make a Super League kind of break.
I could go European. If he keeps going up that brass house on a Friday, mate, I'll be on my own. Watch the Daya show. I'd like to drink. I'd like to drink a brownie. I can have a spillage. Oh, jeez. Sean Smith. Hi, Sean. I haven't seen you in here before. Welcome to the Madhouse. Who's the best person you've had a pint with, famous or not? Oh, you or me?
Well, you go first. I mean, mine's easy. I'll be honest with you. Mine's easy. My dad.
Well, I used to work with them all, so it was a bit of a cheat, really, innit? But my best beer, I'll tell you a good one. Paul Newman, the actor. We were working for.
Oh, he's gone again, man. Fucking hell.
Spanish Wi-Fi, innit?
No, it's yours. Because I know when it's mine because the ticker is still moving.
Well, there we are.
Okay, all right. Go again. Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. I was working with Nigel Mansell in IndyCar racing at the time, out in America, and Paul Newman owned the race team. And IndyCar, all the teams stay in the same hotel. Not normally the owner, mind. And then I was at the bar, and me mate was kicking me leg. He's going, Daya, look at this. It's the gaffer. It's the boy that's out there. And I looked down the bar, and it was Paul Newman. And I thought it was. And my mate was kicking me again, going, it's him. And I said, all right, mate. I said, what's your name? He went, Paul. I said, oh, Daya, nice to meet you. I'll work for you. Hey, Daya, he said, what do you do? I said, I look after Nigel Mansell, your driver. Oh, right, he said. Anyway, there was a pool table. You seem to be enjoying yourself tonight, Daya, he said. I said, I was enjoying myself in the bar pot. I said, but there's one thing I've got to ask you. I'm not going to give you any of that celebrity stuff. I said, but you look quite good in your film on the pool table. I said, I'm the champion where I come from. Rack 'em up. So we had a game of more than one frame of pool. The first frame, he said, what rules we playing, Daya? I said, the oval rules. He said, the oval? What are the oval rules? I said, oh, they're from the deep Somerset. I said, Paul, I'll teach you as you go along. Play as you normally would with the colours, like, you know, our red, yellow job, instead of the numbers like they look like the play.
Yeah.
And I was a bit pissed, right?
Never.
And I potted the black halfway through the game. So I thought, oh, bollocks. I went, yes, 1-0. Yeah. What fucking rules are these, Daya? So I said, the oval rules. It was a combi because they want combination shots in them days. Right,
yeah.
I made up a combination shot. I said, it went in off the combi. I said, Right, second frame, we're playing my rules. He said, I'm going to the John a minute, right? So I said, well, I've got to make a quick phone call to a bird I was seeing at the time, right? So she was a big Paul Newman fan. So there's no mobiles in them days. So I got the payphone just outside. It was a sports bar grill in Monterey, California. I always remember it. And so I grabbed the payphone, rang them up, reverse the charges, as you used to in them days.
Yeah.
Go on, you know. First charge call, please. All right, Cardiff, see this bird. Da-da-da-da. And then I said, you're never going to guess who I'm fucking playing pool with, love. She said, you're pissed. I said, I know I'm pissed. I said, but I'm still playing pool with him. Right? Who? I said, Paul Newman. Right? What, your big boss? I said, yeah. She, well, the film star? I said, yeah. So I said, oh, he's coming for a piss now. He's going to the John Lewis. I'll put him on. So I said, yeah, I love. Hey, Paul, have a word with this lady friend of mine, I said. So he went, hey, hi. She went, oh, no, you're some drunk. He's dragged out the bar. You're not Paul Newman. Right. He said, you ask me any question you want, and I'll answer it. If you're a fan of mine, you'll know an awkward question. So at the time, this is going back, 1992, 93. Yeah, 94. And the 94 season this was. And he said, she said to him, what sauce do you make? And he'd only just started his spaghetti sauce then. It's big now. It's in Tesco's and fucking everywhere. And he makes a sauce, Newman sauce. And all the money from it goes to charity, right? Okay. Never takes a penny out of it. Well, he's dead now, isn't he, obviously, but he never took a penny out of it. And he said, you're on about my spaghetti sauce, honey. She said, it is you, isn't it? On the end of the phone. But yeah. But I won the pool match anyway, 5-1.
So, good on you.
Yeah. But Paul Newman, he was the nicer. What a gentleman. What a really, really nice bloke. He was probably one of the most famous film stars at the time, you know. But there's no air, you know, there was no snobbery. Not I'm Paul Newman. He just loved his motor racing, you know. Fucking great bloke. Great bloke.
Well, I mean, you know, as I mentioned, one thing I do miss, because living over here is every my dad is more rugby than football. You know, he still follows football, no worries at all, but you know, he played rugby, so he's more interested in rugby. And his birthday, obviously your birthday falls on the same fucking day, but his birthday falls in February. So you had the Six Nations. So I'd contact Anton or someone to sort me out, you know, a couple of tickets, and that would always be my birthday present to him. And you know, getting the wives and you know out of the way, just me and him. We've done it every year for 8-9 years, and I do miss that kind of like that bond with my dad. Obviously, things have getting older now, and it's harder work and everything. But famous-wise, I tell you an interesting one I had a drink with, and it was
long-winded. That was long-winded, Brown. We had your life history with your dad there.
No. It's just little things. You know, it's like sleep when you're over here. So it's just little things you do miss, and COVID is really, you know,
I miss the British banter in the British pubs when I'm in Spain. Yeah, that's what I miss. And you're good mates with you in the bar. You can't beat it, can you?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know it's so famous.
Have you had a pint with a famous person, Browner?
Yeah, Rene Ramos. I enjoyed having a drink with.
But his brother, he's not even famous.
Sergio's brother. Yeah, no, he's bloody TV and all that, and he's agent over here as well.
Yeah, he's not famous.
Yeah, no, he's me and my mate.
I'm surprised you didn't come out with Peter Whittingham. That's your normal party one.
No, but it was interesting because for some unknown reason, my mate who I was with at the time, his father owns a slate quarry up in North Wales, right? And it really weird because when I asked him, what do you do and so on, and obviously he works with his father, so describing it, and then all of a sudden, bloody conversation, he knew everything about slate for some unknown fucking reason. I'm not kidding you. My mate was, everything, all like you know, how it's drilled out, and everything. It turns out that he's invested in a company in northern Spain, a similar kind of thing. And so afterwards, there was a verbal agreement, although nothing come of it, of my mate and Rene Ramos, right? Probably Sergio Ramos was probably invested as well in it. Right? We were basically going to be business partners.
The question I want to know. So you met him over a pint, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you spill it over him?
Leave it out. No, I was on good behaviour. I was on good behaviour because because it was when the Super Cup was in Cardiff.
I can remember the photo. I've seen the photo, mate. I remember you showing me the photo that night. It was in Cardiff at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he had one of the not boxes, but tickets to go into corporate in doing it for the game. So I was on my best behaviour. But yeah, no, it was just weird how the fucking conversation went to general chit chat about football. And then all of a sudden went on to the slate fucking mining.
Yeah. Were you in the box at the Millennium Stadium?
No, I was in Cardiff City Football Club.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah. It was Real Madrid played Sevilla.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
What's the best beer? What's the best beer for you both?
My favourite pint, Randy, if I can get it, I got a double top one, basically. London's Pride, but you got to buy it. You got to buy it and drink it in London because it doesn't travel as well. That's a nice, good real ale. And there's a pint called Copper Ale, and it's actually brewed by a small brewery in a place called Bridport, down on the Dorset coast. Fucking hell! When you get, it's like drinking amber nectar, mate.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, go to a pub and it's actually got it. I'll sit there and have 10. I'll be honest, I've got to have them. But you can't get it. They don't bottle it. They don't. There's only in Dorset you can get it, and it's the most wonderful pint in the world. Brownie, don't drink.
You know what? No, I couldn't tell you if I'm honest with you. I mean, there's a Galician beer over here which you can only get in certain bars and so on, and I can't even remember. 19.
What's that called? Spain don't brew decent beer anyway, do they?
Yeah, they do. This one's really nice.
Well, I've never come across
19 something. The likes of Cruz Campo, horrible.
Oh, I can't drink
that is basically when you're so skint and you've got to go down the side of a sofa to try and get
it's not easy. You can go into a bar in Spain and that's the beer they got. That's it, isn't it?
Oh,
I look at the signs. I always look at this. If I see a Cruz Campo sign, I don't go in. Hangover juice.
And also,
it tastes the lead in it.
People praise it back in the UK, but San Miguel, I think, is
no, you get fed up with that. To be honest with you, Browner, I've always noticed, though, it tastes different, San Miguel, in England. Now, I don't know if that's psychological or not, but in Spain, they don't put... When you go in a bar in Spain, it's not the premium San Miguel, right?
No.
There's different grades of it you get. I learned this, and there's different grades of it, right? Because some of it's fucking awful, right?
Yeah.
And it just puts you off the name San Miguel. But when I'm in the UK, I'm very rare I'll have one, but I'll stick to my ale. But I think I'll give it in a decent glass for a start. And it's not flat, like the Spanish bars. And it tastes half decent, but it's not anything special, San Miguel, is it? It's not.
No, definitely not.
Otherwise, Spanish beer, I always drunk. Funny enough, this is a glass from Spain. Amber beer, non-chemical, right?
I know amber.
You don't see it many places in Spain, but they had it in my local. And Estrella, I drink Estrella, but Estrella's a funny old drink. In Spain, you can buy it you get it for €2.30, and then you come to the UK and they have a big fancy pump on the bar, all dressed up. And I was back for a wedding or something. We went for a meal or something before the wedding. And said, the barman, I said, no, you got Estrella there, mate. Oh, yeah, it's a special beer we import. He said, no, I'm giving you a bitch. I didn't let on I was fucking living in Spain, you know. I said, oh, right, okay. I said, I won't, do you want one? I said, no, I'll stick with you, whatever I was on. I said, how much do you charge for that then? Oh, it's a special import, mine. It's £6. I said, 6 fucking quid?
It's probably brewed in Newport, isn't it? That's where a lot of them. That's where a lot of them are brewed.
Well, I don't know where Estrella's brewed, but
no, because they have contracts, don't they? They have contracts with certain breweries.
I said, no chance, mate. I fucking paid €2. I'm pissed off. I paid €2.30 for that.
Yeah, no, it's a big.
Back home, I sort of live in Spain, mate. Every pub's got Estrella.
In Mega, you know Mega, just outside Newport, you've got the Tesco warehouse there and everything. There's a massive brewery, Carlsberg, I think, and those are one of the breweries in which they would get the ingredients shipped in from from Spain or whatever, and they brew it there for the San
Miguel's not actually a Spanish beer. It's where was it? I found this out, and I was in a bar in Spain, and in my local, and I said, he said, it's not Spanish beer, Daya, he said.
Oh, don't go all independent Catalonia for me now.
No.
Because I know that it was a big brewery.
Totally different country, mate. Somewhere like Colombia or something like that. I can't remember the country, but I was amazed. It's not actually Spanish.
Right.
What about you, Brownie? What's your favourite pint then?
My favourite pint?
Not you, Randy.
Oh, Randy, yeah. Well, Randy's from New Zealand, so I'd be interested in knowing that as well. 12 people watching, only 6 hours. Yeah, guys, need to hit that like button, please, and subscribe, as Randy says. Most famous person you guys have ever met? That's for Lou too, been asking.
Famous in what way, Lou? Famous in what way? Most famous for me, because of recent times, would be Prince Philip, who told me off for not wearing a tie to the Queen.
He's gone again.
Yeah.
Right, go on. You told you off for not wearing a tie.
Yeah, so I had to come up with some cock and bull that I had a medical condition that gave me a rash round my neck. So that's why I couldn't wear a tie. He let me off. That was for the Queen's Garden Party, Buckingham Palace.
All right. Most famous person I've ever met. All right, okay. Hang on, one second.
Oh, there we are. She's been listening to Browner down the Brass House. But anyway, I'll carry on. Famous people, who else? Well, there's been a lot of them, but who I like the most would have been... Oh, too many, mate, I think, without sounding like a knob. My favourite, I tell you I did get on well with, who I liked very much, was Lennox Lewis, the boxer. We became good friends. And I still get a Christmas card off him every year. But I met him back in 1980, 80 something. Yeah, 1980 something. It was late 80s when he was first started out, and we became big mates. And I'm mates with his mother and Dennis, his brother, and Violet, the mother, used to cook all his food and to travel the world with him to all his fights and that. So that was quite good. Racing drivers, most famous.
Oh, it's better.
Met all the famous racing drivers, really, but Michael Schumacher I worked for. So I worked for Schumacher in 2010 in come back from Mercedes. There we are. He's gone outside now.
Yeah. So,
been thrown out.
No. It's just I was in a kitchen, and people need to use a kitchen cooking. So anyway, right. Most famous person I've met. I have to think now.
You haven't? Me?
I do have. Yeah, apart from yourself, obviously. Apart from yourself. I mean, I don't really class them as famous, really, but they did have high, positions, really. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Go on then. Hurry up.
no, it's like
All
First
right.
Minister and bloody Prince Charles.
No, that's quite famous, Prince Charles.
Well, I mean, I don't. That was doing my my nightmare kind of counselling kind of.
Where did you meet Prince Charles then? What did he say to you?
No, it was just in a council thing. That's all.
Will you speak to him?
Yeah, because you'd go back to like the councillor's chamber and things like that.
Yeah.
And then he just come around one by one.
He's nice bloke.
Yeah, he's all right. Nothing.
My old man.
That's why I wouldn't count. I wouldn't. I'm not a Republican by any stretch of imagination, but I'm not really interested in Charles. You know what I mean? So I don't. I wouldn't class him as famous.
When he was in the Navy, my old man actually taught him to fly helicopter.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And do you know they have? I used to hear it as a kid all the time. How he had to have yellow rotor blades because he was royalty.
Oh, I didn't know.
And my claim to fame as a child was I stole his polo balls. Yes. I tell you what happened. I went to polo. My old man used to be in the Navy band, and they were playing down Gloucester way in the band.
Yeah.
Polo matches, right? And Prince Charles had his own warm-up, just like football. They have a warm-up area. So he had his warm-up area and his practice balls where he's knocking them all around before he goes onto the pitch, whatever they call it. And so he left all his practice balls on his practice man after his game. And my old man said, "Why don't you go nick his balls?" All right, I said, that's a good shout. So me and my brother at the time ran out with a little bag, Tesco carry bag or whatever, and picked up all his practice balls and binned them. And chucked them in the boot of the car, he did my dad's car. And he come back for his next practice and he was heard to be saying, "Who's had my balls?" And I was like, things you do, innit?
I know. But Matthew says, Daya keeps on playing musical statues. That's because you're freezing.
Yeah.
Finn, hi Finn. Hope you're well, my friend. He says, who do you think will win the playoffs? What do you fancy, Steve?
Swansea.
I fancy Bournemouth now. They're getting stronger as every week goes by.
Yeah, it could be. Swansea. I'd have if I was Bournemouth, not bad. Swan, it's normally the late comer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking Bournemouth.
Yeah, but I think Swansea will do it. Not that I want them to do it, but I think they will.
Randy, in pool. What do you do when a white ball goes in? Move it anywhere you want, or leave it as it is? I don't like a moving rule. Well, there's different rules over here in Spain compared to the UK. There's so many different rules as well. Yeah. I mean, the ones I'm used to now, because I've been over here 4 years, is basically white has to move forward, but there's a line that goes maybe a quarter of the way down from the top cushion, and it goes right across.
Where you used to have a D, didn't you? They got a line goes across the bottom. Right
across now. You can go.
In Spain, you have to put the ball behind that line, anywhere behind that line, didn't you?
But it must go forward.
Yeah, it's got to go forward. Yeah. And then I know the rule Roundy's on about when you pick the white up, you can put it anywhere you want on the table.
I can't remember playing.
The last time me and Brownie played, I will let you know, it was in the what was that bar called? Next to the Dragon.
Mijas Pueblo, yeah?
No, Torreblanca. On the table in there with the red.
Yeah, that's right.
Guess what you did?
Spilled a pint.
Yeah.
Well, Matthew says you got to go now, Brownie. Would love seeing you have live again. Have a good one. Yeah, thanks, Matthew, for joining. Much appreciated. Lou says I'm a rugby fan as well. Got Mark Wilmore in the house. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Bargaff. Sub Brownie. Hope you're well. Ask Daya what he thinks of the F1 season so far. There you go.
Exciting. I think it's been quite exciting. There's only 2 races in, isn't it? But I think it's quite exciting, actually. Last race on the weekend, pearl of a race, wasn't it? With the rain coming down and all the frills and spills. I think it's going to be interesting season. Red Bull are obviously more on the pace now than they were before. It'd be good to see them competing with the Mercedes team. I think this would be Bottas's last season at Mercedes, unless he really pulls something out of the bag. It's going to be interesting, mate. I like the
to be honest, you know that I love F1, but since I come over here, it's always been stop-start when it comes to viewing with me over here.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't do it, you know, but
yeah,
I like that. For me, the race is more not who's winning the race. Obviously, keep an eye on that. It's the mid races between all the different teams, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
As a fan, if you ever get the chance to watch Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Oh, you mentioned that before.
3 series of it now, where they go behind the scenes, and it's fucking brilliant. And when you watch a race, then after watching that, it gives you a better insight of what actually goes on during a race.
Yeah.
So Drive to Survive, Netflix. I will. You are watching tonight. I have a £5 for that one.
Mark says, had a drink in Liverpool once, a place called the New Brighton. New Brighton on Sunday. Jan Moby was pissed playing a piano.
Quite often, it's Jan Moby, was he, from what I hear?
Okay, biggest prick you've ever met, famous or non-famous? Oh, famous and famous.
Right.
So you go.
Right. Biggest prick famous. Right. You're not going to believe this, but there's 2 who on the TV are the people's champion sort of thing. And it's a bit bad saying about one of them now because he just died. But there we are. Murray Walker, right, was one.
Okay.
Murray Walker's, everybody loved him on the telly and his commentary was good. But away from the camera, mate, prick. Right? Absolute prick. And the other one was Frank Bruno, believe it or not. Oh, and another one. Yeah, Frank Bruno. Mind you, when he was being a prick, right, I was in the dressing room, outside the dressing room of his world title fight against Oliver McCall at Wembley. And I was doing bits and pieces with me and Ricky McDonald. Anyway, that's another story. But he couldn't come out of the dressing room because he couldn't pee for his drugs test. Right, so his 80s. No, but they dehydrate. It's like they can't pee for hours. So doing the drugs test. Anyway, so he's won the world title, and you'd think he'd be over the moon, wouldn't you? Right? But he was the most arrogant, ignorant prick that night after winning the world title. But he was messed up with that woman a bit at the time, his missus at the time. So whether it was that, but to me, and I've obviously met him at West Ham and all that, and I've always thought he's a prick. But and the biggest one, actually, most obnoxious prick, we call him, was Daley Thompson.
Okay.
Remember, what a horrible, horrible bloke. And he's that big a prick. We went.
Oh, you went again. Right.
We went to Colin Jackson's charity night, and Daley Thompson was invited. You know, it's like Dickie Bow night, innit?
Yeah.
All that table, whatever, champagne. And Daley Thompson was that obnoxious. He turned up in a tank top and jeans and sat there, and he was the most arrogant, I am Daley Thompson and you lot can fuck off sort of thing, like, you know?
Yeah.
And so they're the 3 that really think. Non-famous, biggest prick. Of course, a lot
Browner.
Yeah, apart from Browner, we won't really Browner. Reece Williams. Nat West Bank manager, Reece Williams.
Right, I'm only going to give a famous one, but I'd rather not go into the reasons why. But I'd be honest with you, Steve will probably back me up. Craig Bellamy.
Oh, he's a prick. Yeah,
he's absolute arsehole.
He is, isn't he? I am. He's not so much of he's a prick, but he's an I am as well. And dragging around, and I'm Craig Bellamy, and
then the world moves in mysterious ways. even though it was one of my favourite places to go when I was living in Penarth, when he took it over, he ran it down to the bloody the ground, and Pier 64, one of my favourite restaurants at the time, went bust. And
You went bust, did it? Oh,
yeah,
that's
went bust.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not it
Yeah.
bothering, I suppose, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, another thing as well is that his ex-wife, she had a beauty place in Penarth High Street,
Yeah.
and just to act cuntish, really. Sorry if I'm using that word, but it is proper cuntish. The shop next door went up for rent, and he then put in a new beauty place for his new girlfriend.
That says it all, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can see why he got fucked off out of Cardiff in the end, can't you?
Yeah.
And funny enough, I'll tell you who was another prick. Right, talking to Bellamy, was the other Kieran Daya, right? Bellamy, I was in what was that bar on Mill Lane? And there's me, Mojo, Kieran Daya, Bellamy, and there was another player. I can't remember his name. He was all right, that one. And they'd buy a bottle of champagne. What was it? It's not there anymore. What was that place we all used to go on Mill Lane?
Sambas.
No. On Mill Lane itself, on the corner, or just on the corner, and it was
the Brasserie.
Brasserie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're in there, and they're buying a bottle of champagne, and they're only taking one glass out of a bottle and asking the barman to give it away because they only drink the finest champagne and they drink the first glass only. And the bottles of champagne they were buying were like 300 quid a pop. I just thought, fucking wankers. Kieran Dyer was just as bad as Bellamy.
Right, Randy says he says hello to you to Lutu and Bargath. Joseph's in the house. Hi, Joseph. Hope you're well, Brownie. How are you doing, lad? I'm doing very well, my friend. I'm glad you guys talk to each other. Makes it easier for me going through these comments. Finn, I remember one of your 3-hour streams with Daya, and he was so pissed. I don't think you managed to get a word in.
You want to come out the night out with us?
Yes. Guys, I had an all-night. Went to gym at 5 a.m. Flew up, going to uni now. Fuck me, I hope I survive. Well, good luck to you, Andy. Good luck to you, my friend.
Legendary stuff, Randy.
Yeah, Bargav is a person in the chat. Mark, have you ever brewed my own? When I was very, very younger, I thought I'd set up my own brewery business with homebrew. And in my mum's spare room, I had a big tank of ready homebrew. So like a litre bottle, of Fanta, with plastic bottles you'd get. Basically I would dunk a plastic bottle, till the homebrew got to the top, and I'd sell them in the plastic bottles. Well, I sold this one guy 5 litres worth of my homebrew. And then didn't hear him for a few days, and then you had on a night in which I sold it to him, paramedics had to give him a stomach pump. Yeah. I just thought there were possible insurance issues, so after that I stopped doing the homebrew. But yeah, I have done it. You have got any stories like that with homebrew, Steve?
No.
Sorry. Right. Mark says, had a drink with Phil Lynott. Finn Lizzie.
Yeah, great bloke, Phil Lynott, wasn't he? I could tell you a story about him, actually. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, go on.
It's a bit sad, this one, actually. But my mate was working in the mortuary in Oddstock Hospital in Salisbury, right?
Yeah.
And where was I working at the time? I can't remember. I was in that area anyway. Can't remember where I was. And he rang me up. He said, "Here, Dave," he said, "you never know. Guess who I got in here?" I said, "Who's that?" And before it came out in the press, he died and everything, right? And I said, "No, who you got?" He said, "Phil Lynott." I said, "No." I said, "He can't have." Yeah, he's dead, mate. He said, heroin overdose. So he said, "Come down and have a butcher's if you want." Well, I said, "No, I was in Southampton. That's where I was." And he said, come up, Salisbury, he said, and I'll take you down the mortuary. I want to show you something. Oh, fucking hell. Well, all right. Yeah, I was only fucking 18, 19, I think, 20. And so I drove up to Oddstock Hospital in Salisbury, where he was in the fridge. And he was in the fridge, wasn't he? And he pulled the old tray out. He said, took the, fucking hell, it is him. Yeah, and whatever. He said, have a look at this. So he showed me his legs, right? And it was like, his two legs were like dartboards, right?
Yeah.
And I said, what's all that for? What's all that? He said, they look like, like when someone's been mozzie bites all over their legs. It's a bit like that. And he said, that's why he's been injecting the heroin. I said, what, his legs? He said, well, once they run out of veins, he said, in their arms and stuff, he said they'd do it in their legs. So, but the story was, what actually happened was he took his overdose, called his ex-missus, right, who is the daughter of Leslie Crowther.
Okay.
Remember
Yeah.
And he knew he was in trouble, so he called her. So she took him to the bloody drug rehabilitation place he'd been in down there, right? Instead of taking him to fucking hospital. They reckon if she took him to hospital, he would have lived. But they took him to these where he was dropped place, like the Priory, whatever it was down there. Yeah, took him there, and like too late. By the time they got him to hospital, too late. Yeah. But great performer though, wasn't he? But apparently, well, according to my mate who plays in Motorhead, or used to play in Motorhead, he's a very shy man, right? Very, very shy. And he said the reason he took so many drugs and stuff because of his confidence. That he couldn't go on stage without taking something to go out and face the crowd.
I got you. Yeah.
I think there's a statue in Dublin as well. He's got a lovely little statue in Dublin. And
Randy comes back. I don't know what favourite is. He likes Guinness if it's from an Irish bar. Steinlagers are pretty good too. I think I remember Steinlagers from my days in Sydney.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I like Guinness. Yeah. I do like a Guinness. I gotta be honest.
I used to, and then I started throwing up on it. Blown his nose again. Big eye bag off. Right, Brownie. I'm related to Ray and Dave Davis for Kinks. Ah.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah, I know, fair play.
Yeah.
Lou, my uncle was a coach of Great British basketball team in the Olympics. It was a while ago now, I think. Okay. Hey, we got. I tell you what, we got some famous bloody relations in this chat. I tell you. Fatima finishes 6. Yeah, I like that rule as well. Of 3 ball. Right. John Wayne, I met Michelle Platini in the World Cup 2006. Is that
right? Good show.
Yeah, good show. I know.
I haven't met him. Have you, Browner?
No. Let's get rid of him. I know. I've had a few of them I've got rid of. I pressed that by mistake, actually. Mark Wilmore, Ian Beale from EastEnders, charity football match, didn't want to give autographs, so the kids egged him.
Well done, kids.
In my opinion, I think West Ham need a replacement for Fabianski.
I think it's time. Well, to be fair, it's a bit harsh, really. Say he made a mistake, on the weekend. But I don't think this season he's.
No, I think it's only one way for him now. It's age is catching up with him.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Age is creeping up, so we've got to have a replacement sooner or later.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give he made a mistake on the weekend, but I still think he's had a good season overall.
I mean, the amount of times he's saved West Ham, Steve.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly, and yeah, but every time. But once we find a good keeper, we do keep him for years.
They on about Johnson, aren't they, from West Brom?
Yeah, been.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, when we brought Adrian in from Spain to West Ham, underground, unbelievable, isn't it? But then he started off good, and He waved at him when he went to Liverpool. We shocked him.
Mark Wilmore says Lee Gunner. Oh, he's probably met him, I think. I wish I could meet him, but that's another thing. Oh, sorry, Randy. I big up to you. Right, Mark Wilmore, Brownie. On with you. Is he an Brownie? Sorry, we're on with you. Is he an ex-player? Oh, Steve, is he an ex-player? No. Ex-football agent. YouTube says John Burge is quality.
Oh, wasn't he just?
You know, I'm not.
What a character!
Well, lovely. And he may be watching this either now or late. I know it's a few hours ahead in Oman. But what an absolutely fantastic person. He was willing. He was, everything was, no problem. And Steve, you know what it's like. I mean, but John Burge, he does do football and work with Kevin Campbell and so on every now and then.
Yeah. What was he on about? What does he do there? Because he was flying into Barcelona when he was saying.
Yeah. Basically, he was with Kevin Campbell. He was covering La Liga for one of the Middle Eastern TV channels.
Ah, right. Okay.
So yeah. I mean, since COVID's come in now, and the travel.
Yeah. Well,
so Peter Reid's been doing it with him.
But he lives in Oman, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Oman.
That's right.
Oman. That's a long
Oman.
like, go work, innit?
No, honestly, absolutely great guy. We spoke for about. Well, we've been speaking for months, if I'm honest with you, and I just didn't have the balls to ask him whether he fancied going on there. Because he did have COVID and he was struggling for a few. But what a character, Steve. What a character.
When he rang me to ask about you, he said, is this Browner all right? I said, yeah, he's all right on a video screen. He can't spit at you, and he can't spit his beer over you. He'll be all right, mate. So,
but I hope it came across okay with you. I know we did have a bit issues regarding my background noise.
Yeah, what's going on there then?
Well, basically, it's just my idea backfired. I mean, what I wanted to do was to create a kind of like a relaxed atmosphere, so like a coffee shop type of thing, And so when I went in there, I mentioned about, look, I told him I'm going to be working. I'm going to do a work call, be about 2 hours. So any chance you can just keep music on? Yeah, no problem. There's no one there. As the podcast was going on, the place started getting louder. More people started waking up and coming for their morning coffee. So the music started going. 4 times I'd asked him to knock the music down. I ended up going outside then towards the end of the podcast.
The dog started barking.
And a woman with a dog started sitting next to me, started barking for. We off camera then afterwards we had a good laugh about it. And he wants to come on again. And
he would have been on for about 5 hours, mate. I think he would have broke the record of our show if we let him. Well, I watched him forwards, and he got in about 100,000, didn't he?
Well, I watched. He done a recent after he got better from COVID. He done a recent podcast on Kevin Campbell's YouTube channle.
Yeah,
and honestly, not even Kevin Campbell could get a word in.
Yeah, he's great bloke. Great bloke, isn't he? Great bloke.
Oh yeah, honestly, and the stories are fantastic.
Oh, great quality, isn't it? But those characters from that era have far better stories about football.
Yeah.
Than the ones do of today. Do you know what I mean? It's what they all do with your camera.
No. It's fine. It's my fault. I'm pulling it. with the headphones. You see.
All right. But I thought one of your birds had turned up from the brass house. Eh?
No.
But yeah, those characters in that era have far, far more stories than you'll never see after dinner speaking with someone like who's modern player now. Think of one. I don't know. Let's just say a Liverpool player, Henderson.
Yeah.
He won't be no good at after dinner speaking. Got nothing to talk about. It's all you know what I mean? It's all just normal routine.
Honestly, and And when I mentioned, and I remember that rumor years ago. When I mentioned about, I heard a story many years ago that he used to sleep with a football.
Football.
And then all of a sudden he brought out gloves. He had a pair of goalkeeping gloves that he carries around with him all the time. It was brilliant, and he was the first ex-professional footballer, and he won't be the last. But as you know, Steve, I got a couple more lined up in next week or two. But it went so well that it will be very close to my heart for the rest of my life. Just the experience of him being so helpful, his wife being so helpful as well. Before we went live, it was so memorable, honestly.
Good.
Right. Classic mortuary. That's about your story.
Odstock Hospital, Salisbury.
Finn says, "Who's the best London team in your
West
opinion?"
Ham. Question, Finn. Fucking hell.
Well, they top of the London teams, aren't they? So you can't really. Where are we? Matthew, is Daya able to give us a tour of his estate? I'd love to see how the other side live.
No, the missus is in bed.
No, what probably is, see, Matthew, right? He probably has got one of his drivers in it as the gardener, and one of them.
It has been known, as you know.
Yes, I know. What are your mansions like? Give us a tour. MTV Cribs and Brownie.
I don't actually go for big properties.
It's harder to clean.
Yeah. I go because there's only me, the missus, and 2 dogs these days. Right. I go for apartments, nice apartments. I prefer living in an apartment now. I had that big villa up on the hill, didn't I? God, bloody murder that was. I moved down to the seafront. Had a nice apartment, which I got in Fengarola there. And that's nice,
It is easier. But you do need. And Sam's in the house. Hi, Sam. Hope you're well, my friend.
Hello, Sam. You right, mate?
Randy says Arsenal needs a replacement for Leno. I've never rated Leno, if I'm honest with you.
Nah, no, me, mate. Shite.
No. Daddy Sam. Right. Here we go. Regarding that champagne story, the young rich Swedes in Stockholm buy the most expensive bottle and ask a barman to empty it in a sink. They call it washing to show their wealth. I don't know, huh?
I've seen them do it on Marbella Beach and that, where they buy a bottle of champagne like $3 grand.
Just spray it. Yeah.
Wankers, a lot of them.
They used to do it in Sisu Hotel.
Yeah.
Long behold, that's burned down now.
Yeah. Arson job, that, wasn't it?
No comment.
Yeah.
Hi, Randy. Go to uni.
Budgie's on. Hello, Budgie.
Oh, hi, John. It might well be him. Hi, John. If you are, John.
Hi, John. Great to have you on the show, John. I loved your stories, mate. I thought they're brilliant. I love the snowflake comments as well.
Right,
Man, John.
Randy's going to the bus. Right.
See you, Randy.
Did you hear Dean Saunders chat with Cluffy and him telling his mate football agent is fat and I have heard this story.
Well, there's a couple.
But I've heard counter stories against it as well.
Yeah, I have as well. I've had a couple of nights on the beer with Dean Saunders, funny enough, and he's a good lad, and I wouldn't have him as a bullshitter, right? I'll be honest.
Yeah. Before you go into the story, while you're on about Dean Saunders, I had a mate call me earlier on and says Dean Saunders has bought a gaff in his urbanisation. There you go. Go on. Continue with your story, Steve. Sorry.
What are you doing, a fucking geography show or what?
No. But, fingers crossed, I'll have Dean Saunders.
So I wouldn't have him down. Me and Mojo spent a bit. Best one was in Germany, in Frankfurt, and Wales were playing Germany. And night after the game, him in what was the ex-Liverpool manager, Roy Evans. Yeah. And Roy Evans is really interesting to have a good beer with. And to be honest, we want beers. We're on the gin and tonics, but we'd had the beer already. But Roy Evans, what a lovely fella. I said to Roy, why didn't you carry on as a manager? And he just said, I didn't want to do the coaching badges. He said, I've won the European Cup or whatever he'd done. I can't remember. Did he win the European Cup? I think he did. But whatever he'd won this and won that and whatever. He said, they want me to go back to the classroom and do coaching badges.
Yeah.
Right?
It did actually put a lot of managers off.
Yeah. And he said, I didn't want it. So he said, that's why I come in as an assistant to John Toshack in Wales.
Yeah.
But Dean Saunders, out of a boy, great, not the brightest spark in the world. I wouldn't say he wouldn't have a high IQ level, but he's a good lad. He's a lad. Do you know what I mean? Don't add him as a bullshit. But the old Cloughie story, I wouldn't put it past Brian Clough, would you?
No, I wouldn't either. But also as well, there's been too many counter stories for me to judge either way.
Yeah, I hero of mine, Brian Clough. I think he's an amazing man. Amazing man.
We got Richard and Richard, Jake's dad in the house. Would love John and Jake's. He's one of the first character memories in football.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he's still a character now.
I can remember when he went and sat on the top on a goal. I can remember that. I remember the handstand. When he was going, you forget him, don't you? With age, like I'm 55 now, and we're going back. Your memory starts to go a bit. But as soon as he started to go on about them stories, I fucking remember that. Yeah.
And I on about Ozzy Ardiles when he come to Newcastle.
Yeah. I can imagine that. Yeah.
Evening, Brownie and Steve.
Hi, mate.
John said, evening, Richard. John, hope you're well. Oh, good. Right. Do you enjoy living in Spain or Wales more? I think it all depends on the company.
I go between Spain, Portugal, and England and Wales, really. My favourite place is Portugal. To relax. I'm enjoying. I go with the flow, Finn. Really. I lived in Spain for a constant 5 years and got a bit fed up with it. But no, you enjoy different things at different times.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. I come back from Spain in December. I only come back for Christmas to my place here, and we got stuck in the lockdown, and so then I couldn't be asked. I wasn't in a rush to go back. I'm still not in a rush to go back. But I'm in Somerset at the moment, and I'm loving.
Oh, there you go again. Can tell he's in Somerset, can't you, with this
Yeah, I'm back. I'm loving all things English. I haven't had a chance to go to an English pub yet. They haven't been open, right? But I'm looking forward to that bit. But the countryside, the walks, the rivers, all that sort of stuff. Right? And I've got grandchildren now up in Wales. So I'll head up to Wales soon and see them. But no, Spain, it's different when you live there. It's not like being on holiday.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Browner?
Yeah, it is.
If I was going to move somewhere full time abroad into Europe, I'd go to Portugal.
You've always said that for ages.
Yeah, always said it, haven't I?
Dear, what's that on your lips? What you been eating? You've been eating something?
No, it's a Charlie from. Oh, come on now. No, I don't smoke anymore, and I don't vape, so I have a tablet instead, mate.
Okay. Brownie teaches geography. In fact, Sam, geography was my best subject.
You wouldn't fucking know it.
Did Joey Jones like a drink? I've never met Joey Jones, actually.
I've never met him. He was.
But I tell you what.
You would have been a kid. You would have been a kid, Joey Jones playing, wouldn't you? Young kid.
Well, yeah. I mean, I tell you what. I know a man who does, and I'm going to have him on a podcast.
I would imagine so.
He did. First week of May, we've agreed. Likelihood that could well be the second week because he's currently moving house. But for people who remember 70s and 80s, having and still Fulham's all-time goal scorer.
Must be Colin Davis, is it?
Gordon Davis on the.
Gordon Davis, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming on, and he actually played for the Wrexham team towards the end of his career. Obviously, he actually played for a Wrexham team who beat Arsenal in '93 in the FA Cup.
I like
So-
Joey Jones as a
So
player.
Joey Jones was in that same Wrexham team, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
So
Joey Jones played Liverpool as well, didn't he? Did he
yeah,
ever?
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But he actually managed Wrexham as well in the mid-90s. I think
Yeah.
on a temporary basis.
I reckon, I reckon he enjoyed a pint. All football players enjoyed a pint in them
Well,
days.
I will make a note of it, and I'll definitely ask Gordon Davis when he's on. Finn, Welsh football player, has the best personality at the moment. Who's a Welsh football player?
Oh. Personality, and none of them got much personality, really, have
I know.
they?
I know.
Phew, that's a bit of a tough question. A bit bland.
Well, you know what? No, well, not Adam. Well, I'm not going to say
Physio,
but
Sean Connolly. Sean Connolly, the physio, he's a bit of a character. He's a good mate of mine.
But he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy, Steve. And unfortunately, I've only really got to know him. And I say got to know him. I have a couple of chats on social media and so on. Danny Gabardon. I like Danny.
Yeah, no, he's a nice
guy.
bloke. Yeah,
Very nice bloke. Yeah.
Great lad. And Ginge. Ginge is a good lad as well. I think that those sort of characters have gone now in that Welsh team.
Well, it's all PR now, isn't it? Unfortunately, and each player comes with a team of hang
on a minute. No, you got Kiefer Moore, mate. Kiefer Moore plays for Wales now, doesn't he? He's a bit of a lad, to be honest. Nice lad. He's not Welsh, but I don't know how you got him in the team.
John Wayne, hi Sam. And right, you go that finally down the bottom. Right, Tom says, Daya, who's in your opinion the best current F1 driver?
Right, the best.
Right, I'll tell you what. I'll do an additional question. Best current and best former.
Right, the best driver actually on the circuit right now. Take the cars away. That's right, Fernando Alonso. What that man can do in a car is phenomenal. But he just doesn't get there. His temper gets him in trouble in teams, and he quits early, which is costing. No, but it has cost him all his career being in the right car at the right time, right? But he can set a car. You don't need a mechanic with Fernando Alonso. He'd tell the mechanic what to do, the head engineer, should I say.
Yeah.
Right? The setup of how he sets a car up is phenomenal, and how he drives it is phenomenal. Unfortunately, we never get to see it because he's never in the right car to challenge the things.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen is a great driver.
I like Max Verstappen.
Yeah, he's still got that old streak.
Yeah. But to be honest, Steve, yourself.
Lewis Hamilton's a fantastic driver. Lewis Hamilton is a fantastic driver.
Yeah, but it's when you're younger, that's when you're more kind of like.
Right. When I worked
when you're younger, that's when you're more adventurous into getting.
I'll explain that to you now. What you see with a racing driver, right, is no fear. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely no fear. And I'll tell you some stories in a minute if you want about real drivers with absolutely no fear. Right? But the problem actually with a racing driver, apart from a couple, right, is when they have kids, believe it or not, they back off.
Yeah.
Because when they're going into a corner, say they're going into a rouge flat out, they don't give a when they ain't got no kids and all that, they don't give a fuck if they go off that circuit, right? Honestly, they're that wired that way. They don't give a fuck. But the biggest driver noticeable in it was Mika Hakkinen. When Mika Hakkinen had kids, he was so much off the pace and you can't blame them because they're thinking about what they could lose. It's still the same. The cars were,
right. You can be back.
But a racing driver has to be the ultimate best. Right, has to have no fear whatsoever.
Yeah. Let me.
When they have kids, they do have something to think about. A wife, I shouldn't really say it, but it doesn't really make any difference. It's when you've seen their lap times when they have kids. Not all of them. Schumacher, never happened to Schumacher.
I tell you, in your opinion, because I'm thinking back now, because I started watching F1 much later than you, obviously. I'm thinking now, do you think that happened to Felipe Massa?
What, with the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He was never the same driver after his injury, really, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah.
And he got the bolt in the head, didn't he? That was his biggest problem.
Yeah.
And when you've been through that, I suppose you do think about it a bit more. I can't really answer for that one, to be honest, but I would imagine that the massive thing was after his injury.
Right. Mark says Mickey Thomas seemed a great character. He is.
Oh,
Did he have a gambling issue? I don't know about Mickey Thomas.
No,
he got banged up for notes.
He used bent notes.
Yeah. Right, I know many players who had, and Steve knows many players who are ex-Cardiff who had gambling issues. Oh.
I know. David James was a big one. Oh, didn't it? I remember being on the blackjack table. And David James came in next to me, and you just got talking, right? And he's going, "Oh, good card." I was on a winning streak at the time, right? And in the old Crooks in Cardiff, I was. But back me, then his stack started going down. I was like, "Fucking hell!" You know what I mean?
I've seen Michael Chopper beat up a fruit machine in Ladbrokes in Penarth. I've had
he was bet on 2 flies going up the wall, wasn't he?
Because of the Ladbrokes in Penarth, I don't know why, but it was kind of like on a Friday afternoon. It used to be. They must have like finished early training on a Friday, ready for the game on Saturday or something like that. You know, Michael Chopper was always on a bandit. Right?
Yeah.
You had who was that? And he's a lovely guy. He was a useless manager. He was after Solskjaer, a bald head. He was a lower league bloody manager.
Yeah, Russell Slade.
Russell Slade, yeah. I mean, he's funny. He was always in there as well, betting on his horses. You know, me and him got talking. You know, got
bloke, really, Russell Slade. Yeah.
And every time I would walk in, I'd only go to pick up the coupons. You know, do a bloody accumulate. And he said, "Ad, chuck it on his horse. I've just had a wire." And then I'd chuck it on a horse and I'd leave out there fucking 30 quid down. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Just got to shake your leg and get a beer browner. Keep talking a minute, mate.
Well, listen, Steve. I've just had notification about 2 minutes ago. I'm on 10% already.
Well, we've got 10% to go then, son. All
right, okay. All right, no worries. Mark says, Alonso is a good shout. Also, Pablo Montoya. I will ask Steve when he comes back on that. Tom also agrees with Alonso. Best of his generation for sure. 2012 season was one of the best seasons he ever had. Seen from a driver where he finished second, only by a few points in that awful Ferrari. We'll ask Steve about the 2012 season. Was that the? Yeah, the Ferrari team, although it's so glamorous, isn't it, to drive for Ferrari, they've been such a letdown for many, many years. In my opinion, probably a letdown ever since Schumacher won in a Ferrari. But we'll ask Steve what he thinks about it now. Before we go any further, there's 11 people in the chat. I want to see at least 11 likes to this video, guys, while he's back. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribers are going up now, finally. Thank you very much for everybody who give feedback to the John Burge interview. For all Cardiff fans, I'll just blabber on or waffle until Steve comes back. But for all Cardiff fans, made arrangements or currently making arrangements with former Cardiff City legend and Captain Graham Kavanagh to come on a podcast. Also, as I mentioned, former Wales, Fulham, Man City, Chelsea striker Gordon Davis, and fellow YouTuber and good friend of YouTube mine, Flying Pig United, is coming on for a podcast tomorrow. The World of Football is going to visit or going to be educating people on football within the lovely nation of Greece. So that's going to be interesting. And then take it from there. Sorry, Steve, going back. Got a couple of people agreeing with you with Alonso. Mark says Pablo Montoya as well.
Well, yeah, he was a great driver. He didn't really settle, did he, in Formula One? But a good driver, Montoya. Great IndyCar racer.
Yeah, IndyCar, I was going to say. Tom
best
says
one.
he agrees with Alonso, best of his generation. 2012 season was one of the best seasons they ever had from a driver when he finished second, only by 3 points in that awful Ferrari. Ferrari, Steve, I mentioned it with Ferrari. It's such a glamorous team to be in. You know, the cars have been terrible for ever since, in my opinion, ever since Schumacher, really.
They got caught, didn't they? To be fair, they were coming back, and then a regulation was it last season. What was the season before? Can't remember. Memory's going now. And they got caught out on a regulation, and they go back again. But yeah, the name Ferrari.
Yeah. You know, all the clothes and everything. Oh, he's
all very strict. All very, very strict when you work at Ferrari. It's no fun, you know.
Okay.
But the best driver, the maddest driver ever that we had was Jack Villeneuve. What a fucking head case he was.
You said that.
He did not give a flying fuck, right? Honestly, if they told him, like, you got to back off on that call, he wouldn't on purpose, right? He was fucking mental, mate. But maybe, I don't know if you ever remember, but him and Schumacher head-to-head for the world title. And Schumacher done his usual thing of trying to run him off the track when he caught him up, right? And he, fuck off, Schumacher. Schumacher dropped out and he went on the winner. But what a nuts, mate. But whatever, we went snowboarding with him in Canada, right? Fucking hell, he was mental. Snowboard, right? The bloke, no fear whatsoever, mate.
Right, Mark says, Brownie, did your friend ever get into scraps when in town? Oh, right, look. Ever get into scraps when on a town with players? Normally the players got into scraps with themselves.
Yeah, no, I got a couple of scraps.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah, I think I know Mark McGill.
Tom says, you only missed out by a total of 3 points in much inferior car. Wait till Steve comes back. Do you trust
you with the money?
Nick with
He's Irish. Why would you trust him?
He'll have no. To be honest, he'll have no money with a lack of house payments. He'll have nothing.
He won't get anything.
Can you stream with John McGinn, Brownie? Jeez.
He's actually on the Daya show next week.
Finn says Gordon Davis was Fulham legend. Yeah, you're still a Fulham legend. Still a top goal scorer. And I know Gordon. Gordon's from my hometown, Merthyr Tydfil. I know Gordon. He did agree to come on a podcast with me when I first started the channel, but I just wanted to practice with other people like Daya before I come on.
Before Daya departs to do his own show. I've been out for a background for 6 months on this show. Can't get fuck all off you, Brownie. Production cost for this show, 0, isn't it?
Listen, I'm going to have to go. It's down. It's flashing big time now. I've just had notifications.
Wait till it runs out, and we're waiting till it runs out.
Because I got. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah. So it's not your battery, then.
No, it is. Listen, it's 1 hour 24. We're not 1 hour. Right, we got one more question.
So
right? One more point.
Yeah, I think we've caught you out bullshitting, Browner.
Not sure if you've already spoken about this, but thoughts on the collapse of the we haven't spoken about Super League.
About it, see? Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it's a shame. It's a shame, I think, personally. I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but I wanted them top 6 to fuck off. I think the league would have been better without them, right? I'd have laughed at them.
Right, I tell you what, just bear with me. I'm going to knock a mic on the camera, go and get my charger, and I'll you carry on talking, yeah?
Yeah, I'll keep it talking. Right? I'll keep talking about Super League. Yeah. No, it's a shame that they haven't pissed off. Once they made the decision to go, I was hoping they'd go. I think we'd have had a fancy. The Premiership would have survived, in my opinion. It would have been more exciting without the boring, like, let's be honest, Tottenham, come on, they ain't top 6 club, are they? They never won anything. They haven't won nothing. It was just American owners trying to do it the American way. And the fans of those clubs, in general, in my opinion, right, are mostly plastic armchair fans anyway, right? You know, the old guard would still go to Man City, I suppose. I did feel a bit for the real, what I call real Liverpool fans. People from Liverpool who live in Liverpool, do you know what I mean? Not all the plastics all around every part of the UK. But I felt for Liverpool because they have a genuine fan base. Man United have always had a plastic fan base. To be fair, if you grew up in Manchester, most of them supported Manchester City anyway. So I felt a little bit for the Man City fans, I suppose, but not for Man United. Always been a plastic glory hunting club. Yeah, and it's a shame they didn't stick at it, really. And Arsenal, nobody'd miss Arsenal, would they? Right? Another plastic London club. Chelsea, Russian club, innit? So, yeah, I hope they'd all buggered off and we could have got back to having some... To be honest, if I'm truthful, I prefer watching... Well, not preferred, but I enjoy watching West Ham when they're in the Championship. Because it's more... it's more about real-life football. And I think we'd have had that back, but a higher grade of football in the Premier League by them 6 pissing off. But unfortunately, they've all bottled it and won't have that now. I've said for you, it will happen. It happened somewhere along the line, and I've said it for the last 15 years. As people who know me, I've been saying it. It's going to happen. One day there will be a super... The Premiership won't be the top league. It'll be a European league with the top European clubs in it. I'd like to see, if it does happen, it would be better to see it with where you're actually getting promoted and relegated. Yeah, I can see. Can't miss you. You're upside down. But the way they were setting it up, where you don't get relegated and you can't lose, basically, was pathetic. That was just an American way of doing it. But I still think sooner or later, down the line somewhere, it will happen. The biggest clubs in Europe will have their own league. I don't really believe it.
Right, hang on. Right, go on then.
We were just saying, mate. I was just saying, mate. It's just a shame that the 6 didn't piss off. Let them go. I would have let them go. If I was the head of the Premier League, I'd have said, right, you've joined, it's off, you ain't coming back. I wouldn't have stopped the players. I wouldn't have stopped playing for their countries. I thought that was harsh, but that was bully boy tactics to collapse it, right? You've always got the right to play for your country, whatever you play. If you're good enough, you're good enough. But the clubs...
It reminds me of the IPL, that did. Do you know what I mean? Because they done exactly the same, didn't they? When the IPL set up, all the countries was like, okay, you go there. You go there, you won't play for your country anymore.
Well, it's the same in cricket years ago with, what was that thing in Australia? The Aussie bloke formed. Can't think of it now. Who? No, way before. He's gone on for years. It was the tour of South Africa. Boycott.
Rugby as well.
Boycott went and a few others went. Tony Gregg went, and was it Tony Gregg? Yeah, he went.
You had Peter Hain, man. You had Peter Hain covering the rugby pitch with glass in South Africa when Wales went over to tour.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But football-wise, it's a shame they ain't gone. I would have chucked as soon as they decided. I'd have slung them out. West Ham would have won the Premiership. But no, I'd have slung them out and left them hang out to dry.
Right. Listen. We both old enough to remember the G14 back in the late 80s, early 90s. That basically it's the same kind of proposal. The only difference from the G14 to now is that different teams were involved, because back then Tottenham were definitely not involved, and Chelsea, Man City weren't. They were in the second tier most of the time. Yeah. But Everton were involved. I think Villa may have been. So the idea's always been there. I can even go back to what would be the mid 80s, really. And you even had like computer games on of Spectrum and Commodore 64. You had the computer games over there as well, very much similar to what it is now with PlayStations and so on. The computer games, that kind of image of a European league, it can be used as a propaganda tool for the younger generations.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen one day. You're never going to stop it.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I do honestly believe it'd be a good league if it's set up right.
Yeah, but
then you've got the Champions League. They're changing the Champions League now, aren't they? Right. That's all.
Hang on, Steve. Right. The thing I didn't like about it, don't get me wrong, I hated the promotion and relegation things. But the one thing that I didn't like about it, right, and you do see it, and I'm going to it may not, this comment may not come out as PR or as it should. So I'm going to apologize before, right? Because I know there's a lot of foreign foreign-based British football fans who love. I'm not tarring everybody with the same brush, but when you look at social media, it's a global kind of platform for people to air their views and have opinions. I've got no problem at all on that. YouTube is one of them. But there is definitely a divide between the UK-based opinions of football fans regarding the Super League and the non-UK based, and the reason being, yes, obviously promotion relegation, which was highlighted by Guy Neville, but another thing as well is that the non-UK based football supporters can't see why the football authorities get such a percentage from competitions like the Champions League and so on and so forth. Steve, you know yourself, the reason why the FA keep a lot of money for is because that money, whether, in my opinion, it should be more, but money like that filters down to grassroots and lower league. And that plan,
it doesn't enough though anyway. It doesn't though, does it?
No, listen, right? That plan was to give more of the money to the clubs involved and less to those organisations, which would mean less filtered down. We are having far too many football clubs, lower league, going to the wall. We're having in the UK grassroots, so many new housing developments are going on sites where football pitches used to be, and that, whether we like it or not. He's frozen again, so I'm going to rant on. Whether we like it or not, the future stars are these back. The future stars have come through the grassroots, and they come through lower leagues, And if you don't know, hang on, let me just finish off my rant. If you don't understand or have not experienced the lower leagues or grassroots football, within communities, and okay, it was the worst job I've ever had. But as a councillor, as a county councillor, many years, I was constantly voting against any housing developments which would swallow up local football pitches.
But the money still, even in today's game, from the Premier League doesn't filter down to the bottom clubs, right? And the bottom clubs system, because of that, needs totally restructuring. You've got Carlisle, let's say, playing Plymouth. I'm just picking names out here.
Yeah. Want to go I would prefer to go the Spanish model as well when it comes to lower league. I know what you're going to say. Yeah,
it's got to be regional, isn't it? It's got to be. You can't afford, the expenses of let's say Carlisle going to play at Plymouth.
Yeah.
I'd travel down on. Well, they'd probably have to set off on a Thursday unless they can't afford a plane.
Yeah.
So they got a coach. So they set off probably Wednesday, Thursday for that game. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hotels, stopovers. They got a train before training on the way.
Because it used to be, Steve, it used to be north and south, didn't it?
Yeah. There's got to, but the bottom line is the Premiership itself doesn't hand down enough money. When you see the fees,
exactly.
You look at what they actually the Premiership clubs get for becoming in certain positions. Like if West Ham finish 4th, 5th, 6th, they're laughing this season. Millions, absolute millions. For let's say we finish 6th or 7th, right? Like West Ham, we get millions of pounds. And the Premiership, we're going to remember is gets worldwide TV rights now, right? Not just off Sky, they get worldwide, and it is.
So the money is not really off Sky. The money is getting made from like Star Sports and like
sports, this sports, that sports, all the rest of them, mate, right? And it's billions, and that money needs to be spread. There would be no Premier League without the Championship. If you go buy a Championship club, right, you're going to lose money for the rest of your life unless you get it in the Premier League.
Look at Vincent Tan.
Exactly, a perfect example. Perfect example. For all Cardiff fans, hate him, love him, hate him, then loathe him, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, but it all depends.
Hang
on. If you buy a Championship club, right, and you have football knowledge, you know as well as me, Steve, right? You know as well as me.
I can remember
the only way to make proper money in football.
If you want to lose your kid's inheritance, buy a Championship football club. No Championship football club makes a profit.
No, but what does make a profit is that if you buy a Championship football club and you run it well and you get it promoted and you sell it as a Premier League football club, that's when you make the profit.
Yeah, but the club, forget about selling it. You've got to sustain yourself then in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know, but at least you get
most of those 6 clubs. We can't call them the top 6 because they're not. Tottenham is shit. Arsenal is shit, right? Yeah. Tottenham have always been shit, but Arsenal
the top so-called top 6 who are currently 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 9th, or something like that.
But you know why they can't go?
9th.
Because they've all overspent.
Yeah.
They've all overspent, mate. Right? And they've all got themselves into masses of debt. Yeah. And it was a way of clearing those debts. Yeah. They were getting.
I agree.
They were getting $3 billion apiece for joining the league.
Yeah.
It's all about money. Right?
But you look at the Cronkies at Arsenal. Now we all know, okay. They may have given jobs to people. We know Tan done this at Cardiff, Steve. You employ people and you expect them to spend money wisely, and they don't, right? And that's basically what the argument is.
Wisely,
hang on. I've heard you out. Hang on, right? But because there's no threat against relegation. There's nothing stopping an Arsenal, for example, who has. And Tottenham as well. They have a history of not really gambling a lot with in recent years with players. So there'd be nothing stopping the owners basically pocketing 350 million or 3.5, whatever it is, from the Super League, and still not buying the players.
I think
because there's no relegation.
But I don't think that could come into play. Yeah, that could have come into play. The way it was formatted of no relegation was just crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Yeah. Players wouldn't even have anything to play for apart from a pay packet, really, would they?
Yeah. But I tell you what was noticeable, Steve. Right? I know I did mention it quite a bit on. On social media because it I'll be honest with you, I only done a few videos uploads on it, live streams and so on, but the amount of notifications coming through bang my phone, exhausted me the last few days.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
only a small YouTuber.
To be honest with you, I personally, because I didn't want it to affect me daily business, and I knew it would, right? So
Yeah.
I gave myself, I thought,
Come on.
I'd stick Sky Sports on at 8 o'clock just to catch up.
Yeah.
But my son came through first. He said, "Hey, Dad, have you seen the telly? See what's happening?" I said, "Yeah, I've just seen it because Match of the Day was on." Funny enough, wasn't it? When the statement came out, the actual statement came out that they were breaking away and doing everything. And personally, the Premiership, Premier League, I know why they want those clubs in the Premier League because it brings in more revenue. That still comes down to money. And when you think about Sky were knocking it and slagging it off. It's only because Sky probably weren't going to get the TV rights.
Yeah, I mean, we old enough to remember '92, and we old enough to remember when the champion, when the European Cup was the European Cup. You know, I wish I wish I'd never. I wish we could roll the clock back towards kind of you know, levels of competition. But I tell you one thing which was very noticeable. Now I remember when the debate was going on from the old First Division to the Premier League at the time. And you know, me being trying to make money as much as I could, before I go to school, I'd have a paper round, right? Now, I'd like, before I go any further, I'd like to apologise to the people who receive daily newspapers from me, and having, you know, the sports pages were all over the shop, because that's what I used to do. I used to walk around the streets reading other people's sports papers, before posting them through letterboxes, right? So if you had ripped sports papers, I apologise. But anyway, what I do remember from back then, only because of my history of reading most people's newspapers, was that you did have current footballers come out against the Premier League at the time. Now, I don't know why, but I remember Matt Le Tissier was one of them. He was quite against the Premier League when that was being set up. Now, this time around, it's quite noticeable that the only player that really come out against it was James Milner, who was reaching the end of his career. No player.
But I think that comes down to not wanting to upset the big chief at the top, because you're on 200 grand a week and you don't want to rock the boat.
I know, but you look at the Euros that's coming now, right? The Euros is coming.
Players didn't get a chance, really, did they?
No, they did. Of course they did, Steve. Of course they did.
No,
it just brings back to my theory. Every single player is a mercenary.
Hugely now, mate. We just talk about, we talk about Budgie there, for instance. They were proper characters in football. That's gone. We're never going to get that back. You take West Ham. I used to go to West Ham week in, week out. Yeah.
One moment. I'll go back in the kitchen. It's getting late out in the garden. See, one sec.
You know. He'd be covered in mozzie bites now.
Go on, I am listening. You can't go on.
Yeah. So those days of football have gone. The real football, unfortunately, is gone forever, and we're never going to see it back, So we got delivered the Premiership, didn't we? 92? It hasn't been too bad, to be fair, the Premiership. But it's put more pressure on the lower league clubs who don't get the money, but it puts them under more pressure to try and get in the Premier League where the money pot is. That's the trouble with it. And that's why people like Matt Lettier, he was one of them, you are right, at the time, could see that clubs like even Southampton, who he was playing for, were going to struggle. They spent a bit of time down there in the Championship and whatever. Well, they went bust, didn't they? Southampton in the end. They got bailed out, didn't they? No administration, weren't they? Southampton. And it's all about money, mate. And I just think Sky have lost the way a bit as well now with the Premiership itself. But there we are. But so be it. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, it's not. Another thing as well, Steve. I'm just setting myself up. Sorry, so I'll just put a mic for a minute. Another thing as well, though, Steve, is that what did you think about the apologies from these owners? I just watched that John Henry one, the Liverpool owner.
I haven't watched them. I've read it. I read quick snippets on Twitter or whatever where they flashed up saying so and so apologises, and I can't be bothered to read it because it's false bullshit, mate. That's the bottom line. It's absolute bollocks. They don't give a. They're not apologies. They don't mean it. They don't mean that. They don't mean anything in their apologies. What they mean is they can't progress with what they wanted to progress with. They came up against confrontation from the Premiership, come up from confrontation from the government, and basically were driven into a brick wall when they were being told that, because obviously they were wanting to play in the Premiership as well, weren't they? And have their Super League midweek. That was never going to work. But those apologies are all false. Every club's apology is totally false. But everything club chairmen say these days is a load of bollocks anyway, half the time, mate. Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, I do agree. There you go. Hang on. Yeah, no, I do agree.
What football club? What football fans? What football fans today believe every word their chairman says or their board say? They done it at West Ham. They done it at Cardiff. I don't know a club where all the fans agree. And I've seen it, and I've been involved in it. When I've seen chairman of a club or board directors of a board just say things to appease their supporters when they don't do that.
But that's why you have such. That's why clubs spend so much on PR. I'll give you another example now.
Take your club, Cardiff. Take your club, Cardiff. That Mehmet Downman is a fucking car salesman.
Yeah.
Right? Anything he says is just to appease the new generation of fans fall for it. Right? That's the sad thing. Right? The older heads, we've fucking been here and heard all this.
Bit before. That's why. We'll go on to Florentino Perez. We'll go on to a Florentino Perez interview after this now. But clubs spend so much on PR these days. This is why you have the old Sun editor, who's now the PR man in charge of Man United, right? I watched the Anfield Agenda, which I don't know if you know, is obviously a Liverpool, very successful Liverpool YouTube channel, because that was just before this show, about half an hour before, and they done a show about John Henry's or John W. Henry's apology, and what he said, what Craig and I don't know if he's watching, but Craig as well has agreed to do a podcast sooner rather than later. So, but what he did say is that he before he started his show, he asked someone within the field of kind of like PR, what was his kind of feedback on that video, the John W. Henry video, and the feedback he had was it was an absolute, first of all, an empty apology, which what it was, but it was, you could see the PR, the levels the PR team were going, because you had things like in the background you had yellow roses, which is kind of a sign for chilled out type, apology type of thing. And you had this behind him and the way the camera was and everything.
Yeah.
And just bullshit, man.
Yeah. It is a
Perez interview. We'll go on this Perez. Did you watch any of it, or did you just get the English kind of translation?
I haven't seen the whole interview. I heard the bit where he said that all the Spanish clubs were going to carry on.
Yeah.
And then I think, why is he still saying that? It's fucking collapsing, mate. Yeah.
Well, because he was going to be the president of the Super League, is he? Right. Right.
So do they all still get fined? They're all going to get. They were all contracted.
Yeah, you have said that. You have said because basically, let's be honest, Steve. We legally they broke the contract. They signed up to something. He's saying that they're going to be all sued.
Sued for 100 million, isn't it? 100 million clause it was.
I don't know.
Yes,
yeah, what he did say, and this is why I called out Fabrizio Romano. Now, up until the other day, I had the utmost respect for Fabrizio Romano. He come, I don't know if you know about him, Steve, but he's a well-respected kind of football journalist within Sky and within the transfer kind of, we've got so many contacts. What he says on, what he says, people take as a Bible regarding transfer activity, or especially on Twitter. But I know what's been going on with Florentino Perez over here in the last 2-3 months, right? Don't know if you know.
The Saudi
don't
money.
know if you know, but it's been the presidential election was meant to be in November, right?
Yeah.
Now, the rumours were that the other candidates in which were being put forward were more popular because of the way in which Real Madrid have been playing on the pitch in the last year or two. The way Zidane has treated the likes of Bale and Odegaard and so on. So, Perez, the campaign team was all over the shop. One week he'd say, right, we're going to get Mbappe and Haaland. The next week he'd say, oh, we're going to get Ronaldo back instead. Then it was Mbappe on its own. Then Haaland, completely all over the shop, right? And then it just shows how his mindset is. He completely forgot about the clause in which he changed for the election process back in 2012. He changed it for himself, which has now banned other candidates from standing against him. Right? And people back in the UK, so he's been sworn in as a president until 2025 because no candidates can stand against him. Right? Now, people back in the UK are praising the likes of the system. Barcelona just had a recent election with Juan Laporta winning. That basically these elections, and I've seen it firsthand now. They're worse than some of the elections you get in some third world countries. Honestly,
Spain's always been corrupt anyway, mate. We know that.
So he comes in and he says, "Oh, all the rich clubs need this money to help out of all the losses we've done over COVID." Right? What he doesn't mention, though, is that both Real Madrid and Barcelona are currently, during COVID, spending hundreds of millions of pounds redeveloping both their stadiums. Right? So, if you are if you're pleading poverty that much, why are you improving the Bernabeu? Why are you improving the Nou Camp? There's no need for a roof to go all around the Nou Camp. Right, that's what we're currently doing. We're doing a roof right around the Nou Camp.
Well, they're getting ready for the Super League, mate.
But you can't say you're fucking penniless when people can see with their eyes that you're making improvements like that.
Yeah, but they've all over. I honestly believe, mate, those 6 obviously have known for it for a while, and it's their get out. It was their get out for the overspending they've done over the last recent years to try and buy their way to have the best players and so forth and blah 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 blah. Gary Neville was quite interesting actually. I know in his rant, but he mentioned those Americans there. They hadn't even painted the stadium for about 10 years or something.
Yeah, I know. I've heard a few. I've read a few comments over the last few months about the state of Old Trafford. leaking everywhere and things like that. I've heard that.
I don't see how.
But also as well, this no, because Perez mentioned, he mentioned a comment during that interview, and my mate, in all fairness to him, he was like translating as much. I could pick up most of what he said, but
Yeah,
translate because right, and what he said was he mentioned regarding he didn't like the fact that he didn't know how much the UEFA delegates were having, right? This is coming from a guy who's just rigged a presidential election at Real Madrid, right? He's going to the likes of Saudi Arabia, cap in hand, who's now agreed to sponsor the women's team. Now we're talking Saudi Arabia here. Saudi Arabia sponsoring Real Madrid's women's team. You know, women can't even drive cars in their country, right? Right? And you know, you're trying to tell me there's no corruption going on with how much bloody side deals is Perez having from the likes of Saudi Arabia or anything else? And how, you know, if he's outraged about the UEFA delegates, why don't you be as transparent of what you doing with that Saudi Arabia money?
That's just one club in the thing. On the overall,
but he's in charge of it all, though, Steve. He's
the one. Yeah. That's why I'd never worked with him in charge anyway, right? And it was just simple, wasn't it? Really, what I was really chuffed with was the Germans saying bollocks to it. Bayern Munich, bollocks. We're a fans club. I was really touched by that, to be honest with you, mate. I thought that was the Germans' way of had it right for many years, and I think hopefully with this now happening will force football to go more to the German type way of running football.
Does it work for Steve? The quality has never been there, or was it?
That's true.
You know, the quality's never been there. And let's be honest, I know at the moment the British government and Boris Johnson is what's the word now? Pastoring, is it? Or you know, trying to get the PR, working PR themselves, you know. In putting the idea of a 50+1.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen, is it?
Exactly. Because
John Barnes hit the nail on the head. I saw his interview. Like he quite rightly said, you can't now have fans buying into a football club that's worth billions of pounds. Right? When Bayern Munich done it years back, you could afford to do it. The only way you would ever buy a football club now is to buy a lower league football club.
Yeah.
You haven't got the fans because they all watch the Premiership.
Well, it's like FC United of Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Exactly.
I mean, this is another thing as well, right? And Steve, you know politics as well as me. I mentioned this to Sam actually, who I don't know if it's still in the chat earlier on today. Boris Johnson, and his government have come out about this idea of maybe pushing for this 50+1 model. But people need to remember that a 50+1 model is quite a socialist way of thinking. And the Tories, the Conservatives are actually in charge. You know, I don't think. It
did make me laugh when they came out and we're going to do everything to stop this. We're going to stop this. The government getting involved.
Yeah.
And like, how can you get involved? Right?
You can't legally. You can't.
You can't stop a business, which effectively
making money.
Making money. Exactly. No, I don't know how they. And at the end of the day, these 6 clubs were going to a new business, to make billions.
Yeah.
Right? There's no, but the court in Madrid said today, didn't they? Went to court in Madrid today, didn't it? And they said, can't stop them. If they want to do it, you can't stop them.
Yeah.
So the backlash and they're saying it's the backlash from the supporters. I don't think that's anything to do with it. I don't think those clubs give a fuck about their supporters, to be honest with you.
Exactly not.
Because they wouldn't have done it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
They knew there'd be a backlash. There's obviously going to be a backlash.
And you know what?
But the truth is that.
Go on. Oh, he interrupts me and then goes, freezes. Go on, say it then.
How many genuine Chelsea fans are left now?
Most of them have been banned, probably.
Yeah.
but the same can be. Listen, this is what I mentioned on my rant against Fabrizio Romano's style of reporting the other day. You gone freezing, so I'm going to carry on. Right? Is Perez has banned the genuine out of Real Madrid genuine fans. He's banned them all, right? Because he is not liked within. He's only liked with tourist Real Madrid fans.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they have got the monopoly now.
The last time I went to Stamford Bridge, I had a bit of hospitality. Me, Moj, and mate of mine, Andy Waddell, right? And funny enough, I sat next to Frank Lampard Senior that game. When you were in there, he said.
Right, hang on. You gone again. Jeez,
I'm back now.
Tell you what, we're going to have another Lovers Tiffy done sort out this internet before next show. Go on. Frank Lampard Senior was the last one.
How many British people were in there?
I know.
You know, and how many British people sat around us? And just listen, he said, to the accent and listen to the language. Huh? Yeah. There was none. So
but that can also be said about that can also be said about migration, I suppose, because London, I mean, you know, the genuine West Ham fans.
Yeah, but they're not the genuine.
No, it's money.
Chelsea fans.
It's a playboys game now.
Yeah, they're not genuine fans when Chelsea were in the Championship or whatever it was called then, right? Yeah. They're not the genuine fans when Chelsea was shit. Yeah.
But one thing I will say when you're on about Chelsea, Steve, one thing I will say is, you know, because I have seen on social media a lot of people slagging off Chelsea fans after the protest yesterday, saying, well, hang on, you lot started it. One thing I will say about you know, Abramovich and our takeover, and you were old enough to remember this, is that Chelsea were 24 hours away from going bust before Abramovich come in. No one else was willing to come in, you know. So Chelsea would have been a berry. You know, Abramovich was actually, like I say, we remember the days of Ken Bates saying "Save our bridge" bloody campaign.
Yeah, I remember all that. But but those fans, there wasn't that many fans outside that ground yesterday.
It was enough to stop. When Peter Cech coming out.
Yeah, but it doesn't take.
I didn't like his response actually.
No, but it doesn't take a lot of fans to do that, as we both know, because we've both done it, right? So it doesn't take a lot. It only takes a few hundred. But I don't know, mate. I don't know. Anyway, it's not happening. It's a shame. In my eyes, it's a fucking shame because I'd have got rid of all six.
Do you think? Right. There's two questions for you, guys. If you're still in the chat, you know, give me your opinions as well on this. Right? Do you think it may push people to go more to watch more of the local clubs now, and they've had enough, right? And another thing as well is football fans have had a victory year, right? As what John Barnes said earlier on, and as what other commentators have said throughout the day, can the football fan push for more, e.g. ticket prices, e.g. price of shirts? Can they do it now that they got the momentum behind it? Can they take control of the game again, let's just say?
My opinion, mate, it go back as it was. It'll all be forgotten about within 3 or 4 months. The season's come near to an end anyway. right?
Yeah.
We'll all be forgotten about, and we'll all restart in next season in the Premiership with the Premiership, and it'll be carry on as normal. They haven't looked after fans for years, right?
All right, we know that.
Money,
You know,
you got to remember
being
Browner.
treated like shit, basically.
Exactly. A football fan, a genuine football fan, going to a game, hasn't been looked after for the last 15, 20 years.
Oh, and the rest.
And
when
the rest.
Thatcher was in power.
Eh?
When Thatcher was in power. You
No,
know, how long ago was that?
Premier League. They've been in the Premier League, we're talking.
Yeah.
Football fans with the Premier League, and I'm not talking about all the other stuff, I'm talking about just a genuine football fan going to watch his team play football, right? Hasn't been looked after financially or anything, right? When you got clubs earning billions of pounds in the Premier League, which they all do, and you got a club charges parents for their kid to be the mascot, right?
Yeah.
It's a fucking joke, mate. It's a fucking shambles. And if you remember, back in the day, and I'm older than you, I know, one child was a mascot, right? Now each player's got one because you have to pay for it now.
Yeah.
Right? Ticket prices. They're an absolute ticket prices to go watch any Premier League football match for value.
He's gone again.
You're not actually
right. Okay. You went again. So go back. Right. Go back a little bit.
Ticket prices, mate.
Yeah.
If you want to go and watch your team on a Saturday, right, and you want to take your son or your daughter, or whatever, right, it's a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah. Now, those clubs don't need, as we're seeing with COVID, and it was before COVID, they don't need a crowd anymore. The crowd.
Is that a myth for Steve?
No,
right? And I see that.
If you see the figures, if you see the figures, ever since the world wide TV distribution came in, those clubs have never needed a crowd.
But hang on. But my point being, okay, if they never needed a crowd, there's been no crowds. So if that is the case, then why has every club recorded record losses because of no crowds? So that is that a myth? That's what I'm trying to say.
Browner, they've been recording. They always record a loss over the years, mate.
Yeah, but not like
nothing new. Nothing new.
Not like not like this.
Honestly, mate. If you see the money that comes in for the worldwide TV rights, the majority of Premiership clubs could survive as a business, right, without a crowd. So I'm not saying,
granted, anyone can survive. You know, but you get rid of a wage bill, chuck the kids on throughout the season.
No, it wouldn't go that bad. No, it wouldn't go that bad. You don't need to charge the prices that. Of course, they should charge, but they don't need to charge what they charge, mate.
Yeah. Oh no, right? I agree.
The only thing but you can see the argument always was, and this is me talking to some football chairman who told me, so I'm not just saying it off my thought process. They've told me they could run the club with no crowds, right? Yeah. But what they always said is, we need the crowd for the atmosphere.
How about for the advertising and
not even the advertising. That was on the telly, innit? Right?
I don't know. How's advertising revenue down then?
Eh?
How is advertising revenue down?
Because brands haven't also, that's the same as a free newspaper in Spain. Yeah? Brands don't want to advertise at the moment. So rates come down. My advertising rates, some of my websites that I've got there, rely on advertising. Take Global 247 News, relies on advertising. We're getting paid €2 or £2 a click per 1,000 clicks, where we used to get £8 a 1,000 clicks. The worldwide advertising is down through COVID, right?
Okay.
Right?
Let's go.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish because this is very important, right? To the future of football for all the generations coming through. If I want, it's not fair on the parents to take their kid to go and even well, West Ham are doing.
Right, you're back. Right, West Ham will do. You went. Go on. Are you back now?
Right, West Ham. Yeah, West Ham are trying to do it. Oh, I don't know what's going on with this Wi-Fi tonight. West Ham
okay now.
Are trying to do it the right way. They're trying to make it affordable, right? But the only reason they can really do that, and they're trying to do it, is they got the capacity now to do it, and they need to fill it. Yeah. And also they get the ground for nothing, don't they, on their deal? But in general, the chairman have told it. I've sat there with them, and they've said we could run this club, but we lose the. And one of them worded, I try to remember what his actual words were. We lose the ambience of the game. It won't come across on a telly. Right?
Yeah, I'm struggling. You mentioned ambience. I'm struggling to watch a normal game at the moment, and I have been for months.
But now, what have they done with TV? They just enhance it now. It's not the same, is it? But when they enhance the crowd in, they found a little.
Let's go in the comments because I have missed a few. So apologies, guys. Mark says, "Fans stats for tonight. Catch you later. Stay safe." Thanks, Mark, for coming in. Much appreciated, man. Finn. So West Ham will win the league. Are you on about throwing people out? Scottish Football Daily Podcast. What do you think Cardiff City season on a whole? Then Brownie, were there any positives? Absolutely none at all. Kiefer Moore, I think Kiefer Moore is a positive.
No, I think that's about. I think the positive at Cardiff, he got rid of Neil Harris.
Yeah. Salesman, car salesman, second-hand car salesman. Right, Tom Palmer says thoughts on Mourinho. Now I don't know if you heard this story, Steve. I've heard it a few people now.
The training ground.
The rumor I heard, right, was not yesterday, the day before when he was relieved of his duties, but basically because all the pressure was built up. Shortly after the announcement from the European Super League, the players refused to train the following morning because they wanted a meeting with Daniel Levy, and I can't remember the actual name of the owner of.
Yeah, he's an American, Joe somebody.
Levy's just a face to.
It's American only.
But basically, that's what it was. They refused to train. And because they wanted meetings with
slightly
Mourinho then backed them because he wanted to be on the side of the players, and he also wanted questions. And as a result of him backing the players, they sacked him.
I think it's true.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. All right, I can imagine
Mourinho. Whether you like his football or not, I think he's a man of principles.
I think he's a man for his team as well. We've seen how he's built other clubs, and he's built it with solidarity with the players. And the giveaway for me is they sacked him before the cup final on a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. That was another reason.
No one gets a sack a week before the cup final.
Yeah, and especially when they haven't won silverware for so long.
Yeah, and Man United even let Matey go. What's his name? I can't remember his name now. What's his name?
Van Gaal.
Van Gaal. They sacked him after the cup final. You just don't do that. So something went on. I believe it's true. It was out very early. For the version I heard was Mourinho didn't want to take training, right? But I would imagine, like you say, that was combined with the players. They wanted a meeting with Daniel Levy. And they would have got Matey Boy from America if he was on Zoom or whatever to find out what was going on. Now, you got to remember, it was already being banded around. Players wouldn't be allowed to go to the Euros or play for their country again. Now, players want to play for their country. What would Harry Kane be saying?
Well, that's another video I done, Steve. It's basically, this is why I am disappointed with some of the players, and definitely with the national team captains who are all meant to be going to the Euros during the summer. None of them come out.
But I think they were advised. They would have been advised. The players would have.
No, but forget the advice.
Do. But you're in the corporate world now, Brown. It's not football
you can still listen.
But you can't be outspoken. Football players, when they're 17 to 19, when they first sign their pro contract, they spend 2 years. I hope you realise they spend 2 years.
No, but these players are
I know.
To a level.
A football player will never speak out anymore.
I know, but it's disappointing the way.
That's the modern game.
I know.
You know,
Scottish Football Daily Podcast. Not watched enough Championship football. Oh, you haven't missed much, mate. I'll be honest with you. Love watching the playoffs. Kev Walsh, hi Kev. 29-year-old in charge of Tottenham. Good luck to him. Everyone has to start somewhere. Finn Evans, do you think Zidane is a good manager?
No.
I think his man management has been terrible. But he was like that as a player as well, wasn't he? Can easily lose his head. Very lucky. The rumours always were that Ancelotti had Bale pushed onto him, and he had to make room within the Champions League winning team for Gareth Bale, and he chucked him out on the right, chucked him out on the left, and when he was at Tottenham, he's basically playing a free role. And that never worked out. Ancelotti had to sack. Zidane was his number 2, and he basically took over. Okay, he didn't on that 1 year. Ancelotti went to that game, but in semi-final they lost. But basically took over what was a European Champions League winning team. Paul, hi Paul, hope you're well. Top Premier League owners said 4 years ago turnstile money is nothing. That's well documented. That's what he said. Yeah, I know it's well documented. I know that, right? But to me, I know what Steve is. We've both been in business often. He's been in business far longer than me, right? But when you go into business, no matter what industry you go in, if you're brand new to the business world, it takes you, you are always learning stuff from your accountant. Would you agree with that, Steve? And you always would learn to try and, show a loss on the final figures than a profit, because saves you paying tax and so on and so forth. But I think that the discrepancy has been such a gap because of no people going through the turnstiles. I think that comment, which was, as Paul said, very documented for a number of years now, I don't think it backs up the comment, because of the losses have been so massive.
Disagree.
Okay, it's all about opinions. It's all about opinions.
Facts. Like Paul's dead right. It's been well documented. Top clubs in the Premiership do not need a football crowd. So when they don't need a football crowd, they treat them like shit. And football fans in the UK are treated like shit by club boards, directors, owners, whatever you want, in the Premiership. Whatever club. I can't think of a good, there'd be an angle on it.
Summerman.
No, there is no Premiership, mate. Different in the Championship. Different when you need your supporters. You need your supporters in the lower leagues. We're talking Premiership. Yeah. They do not need a crowd. They have enough money coming in from where they finish in the Premiership, worldwide TV rights, Sky TV rights. It's fucking billions, mate. Right? Yes. And they still got the cheek to charge people 50, 60, 70 quid or whatever it is to watch 90 minutes of football.
Well, I don't wear football shirts, but I'm hearing they're charging 70, 80, 90 quid for a home shirt these days.
Exactly. They don't need the shirt. In the old days, clubs needed the money from the shirts. They needed the fan was a customer. I hate the word, but a fan, but the fan has always been a customer. Yeah. But you had to rely on your loyal customers. Now these clubs don't have to rely on their customers.
I know.
Millions coming in from customers all over the world. And the football fan has suffered.
Listen, I am not saying that every side was spoken out is completely in the right. There's hypocrisy going right across the board. You know, as you mentioned earlier regarding Sky, and Talk Sport bloody shouting from the rooftops, and we all know what happened in '92 by Murdoch and his, and we can go even further back, obviously. But I do think it needs re-looking, and we are on about, we kind of like touched on it, but then we went away. You mentioned it needs to be regionalized. Now, I know we did watch Spanish football when we were living over here, Steve. Malaga Real. I did watch Mijas, but they weren't in the.
Good point there. How much do the tickets cost? Nothing.
Right. Well, the Real Madrid.
My season ticket. No,
because what they do, remember, is that a season ticket holder, Malaga season ticket holder, would buy a season ticket for about 200 euro for a season.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And then they'd sell the Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atleti games for 200 each. And they get to watch for.
I had a season ticket in Malaga, as you know, and that cost me 180 euros. Right? When you come up I had to get you a ticket for Real Madrid. I think we paid about 100 euros for your ticket for the Real Madrid game, didn't we?
Yeah.
That 180 euros got me Real Madrid, 4 times a season?
Well,
home and away.
Well, Real Madrid, the home game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I was living at the coast then.
They were getting the TV rights from Spain and worldwide rights, blah blah blah, whilst they're up the top with Real Madrid and all the rest of it. But they've done the right way. The ticket prices are a joke, an absolute. It's just profiteering, mate, out your customers.
Yeah, no, I know. I was living further up the coast, near you at the time, and I moved down to Marbella, and I have gone to a few Marbella games. I enjoy it actually. I go, I've been to watch the ball.
Walking the dog yesterday, mate. I was walking the dog yesterday up the local park and I watched the local game of football.
But hang on. Marbella are basically League One level. We know Anis watches Atletico Banderas, right? Same kind of level, right? You are right, but regionalized. But you know how much I have paid for a ticket in the past to watch basically what League One level, right? €3.50.
Yeah.
And the reason being, it wasn't because we touched on it because it's businesses, but the reason being is because here in Spain, you got La Liga, equivalent to Premier League. You got Segunda Liga, equivalent to a championship. Anything under a championship is part-time. Everything is part-time.
You're not going to get
and that has a great effect on everything else.
Yeah, but that's another thing that needs to come into the lower leagues at the moment, isn't it? It needs to go back to part-time.
Yeah.
They can't afford, here in Yeovil Town, say, for instance, they're non-league now, but they're all full-time contracted players. You don't really need to be full-time contracts. But then you're not going to get the players because there's always going to be one club that says, we'll give you a full-time contract.
Yeah, but basically, you're always going to have a show for it.
You can't go back. Players in those leagues used to be part-time.
Yeah.
We can name you hundreds of Yeovil Town players are all part-time.
But going back to your comment about Plymouth playing Carlisle or somewhere.
Yes,
it doesn't add up, does it? At least go back to North and South.
Unless the Premiership distribute more money. You're on two different subjects here, you see. But on this subject, the Premiership should be distributing more money to the lower league clubs.
Yes, granted, I understand that, but not regionalising the lower leagues also hurts fans in the pocket.
Yeah, of course it does.
So yes, I'm all for giving the lower leagues money anyway, but I'm also looking at it from a fan point of view. How many games did we used to go up north? Took bloody ages. You get home like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and just.
But they were games you wanted to watch, though, as well. That's the only thing. Is you if you do regionalise it, you get your local derbies, obviously, but you miss those games then that you would have enjoyed. The games, for instance, going up the middle of Cardiff or whatever.
Listen, Spain is a big enough country.
Yeah, but it's all about
hang on.
I know you're living in Spain.
You're not hearing my point. I'm asking you a question. It's a question, right? Spain is a big enough country. They regionalise north, south, east, west. Now, I know before we've had north and south. Could the UK or could England and Wales, because, could they do north, south, east, west?
Yeah,
in smaller
it's achievable, isn't it? Anything is achievable.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like four leagues of 10 teams.
The easiest way to do it, first of all, is get rid of the Welsh, right? No. I'm serious here, right? Cardiff City, Swansea City. Wales they're quick enough to have their own Welsh league, right? You're quick enough proud enough to be Welsh.
How many beers have you had? You know this is going to kick off.
Why should Welsh club? Why should Welsh clubs play in the English league?
Because the English FA invited him, as you know damn well.
Let's take them back down again.
Took them up on the offer.
Let's revoke the invite, right? Cardiff City, Swansea.
One second. Go on, carry on, because I'm listening.
Yeah, you need to go back to your own league first. That'll make it easier for us to regionalise the English league. Agree? He's not listening, is he? Or he's ignoring?
Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. First of all, you not have your own league, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the Welsh league anyway. It's already there. We didn't, it's only.
Yeah, but only started in the 90s, Steve.
What, the Welsh league?
Yeah.
Oh, it was going before that.
No, it wasn't. It was Alan Evans started it off because you had the exiles like Newport.
So where were your clubs playing before that then?
You had Newport played in. You had like Colwyn Bay in.
Barry Town. Where did they play? What league did they play?
Barry Town was in 7th League. You used to have a 7th League derby, Barry and Merthyr.
Right. Okay.
Right. You had.
You never had a football league until.
Not until Alan Evans started in the 90s, and he put it down to Welsh clubs then, like Cardiff, Swansea, Wrexham, and so on. But if you don't join the league, then you'd be thrown out of the Welsh Cup. So they didn't join the league, and that's why Cardiff and all that never played in the Welsh Cup after.
Yeah, I know all that. You must have had a league. You must have had a league.
Colwyn Bay was playing Juice North Premier or something like that.
Right. So you're all in the English league anyway.
Yeah. And he's frozen again.
Yeah. So you broke away early. You broke away, really, then, the Welsh?
No. Basically, we had a choice. And at that time, the non-league Welsh clubs who said no to join in the Welsh league.
Right. Okay.
Right. Hang on. They were banned from playing in Wales.
Yeah, I know that. Right. But you broke away. You had your Welsh league. Well, forget who didn't bother joining it, but the ones who joined it. You didn't have a league, and then you formed your own league.
Hang on, Steve. If you've got heritage for basically 100 years of playing in remember now, it wasn't long ago Wales was a principality, right? So you had it was England and Wales. Everything was England, Wales, right? Even the cricket team, people may not know, but it's still officially called the England and Wales cricket team, right? Right? But if you have a history and heritage of playing within of playing within one structure, why should he be bullied? Why should he be bullied of moving away into another structure, which, let's be honest,
I'm not saying you should be bullied.
financially has helped a little bit, but not like the figures in which what was being banded around at that time. There's no way Merthyr at that time.
Why did you form the league? Why did the Welsh?
At that time were in the conference, right?
Yeah, remember that? You used to come play Yeovil Town.
Right, Merthyr at that time were in the conference, getting around about 4,000 to 5,000 average gate. Finished fourth one year, right, in a conference, and a couple of points away from getting promotion. Why should they at the time risk that of the dream of getting into the football league? And it is still a dream for people in the Vanarama, whatever you call it these days. Why should they risk that dream for playing, going into a league, a brand new league, which is set up with at the time, never had a sponsor for the first 3 years of when it started.
I'm not disputing that position. Simply I said you've got a Welsh league now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes or no answer is fine. Great. And before that, you said regionalised football. Regionalised league.
But I'm on about for the clubs already in the league structure.
So you want it different for Wales then?
No, we're in the league structure. Well, whoever's in the league structure, Newport's in League 2 as we say.
You think it'd be simpler just to say, right, you're Welsh, go in your Welsh league?
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be clipped, and I'm going to have hatred from Welsh league supporters and everything. Don't, Steve. I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing.
This might be already worked. You've gone into a rant. You've gone into a rant and it's wound you up already. But for the viewers, that was a wind up on Brownie. I don't think that Welsh should have their own. But they put him going. It was the big. This
may not go public until tomorrow morning or afternoon. No, but can you see what I'm getting at? If you think in your mind a map of England and Wales, right?
Yeah, of course it should. Of course it should be regionalised. Cut the expenses down. The best games that clubs really play, they're local derbies anyway. When you've got a local derby, that's the game you want to go to, isn't it?
I mean, the one, obviously, the nearest like League 2 from where I used to live would be Newport. So it'd be from Newport to the Midlands, down towards Dorset. So you'd have Torquay, Plymouth, Exeter, and then up to the Midlands, obviously, South Birmingham area. So you'd go as far as like Warsaw.
Reasonable travelling distance, 4 quarters.
The 2 Bristol clubs.
What leagues should they be? How far would you? That should be what, championship after the championship?
Yeah, after the championship.
That's why
League 1, League 2.
You leave the Premiership as it is. You leave the Championship as it is, and then after that, everything regionalised.
Yeah,
that's what I would do first.
So basically, what it is now is League 1 and League 2. So you got top of my head, 40 teams.
Yeah,
I'd have 4 leagues, 4 regional leagues of 10.
Yeah.
But the problem, the thing in which I don't agree with, which they have over here, is the promotion and relegation from that tier to the Segunda Liga. I think it's all over the shop, very much like playoffs in MLS and so on. The winner of each league should go up automatically.
Yeah.
And you can have a playoff system between a couple of teams underneath them.
Yeah.
But how they do it over years, that the top team, even though you won the league, you're still in the playoff system. So you may not even qualify if you lose out in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's the Spain all over for you, isn't it? Right?
But
you're right. Then that is where the lower league football can survive, because it won't survive. It's not going to survive. In time, I'm surprised it's survived as long as it has, to be honest with you. But all those clubs are all skin. They're all on the bones of their ass.
Yeah.
Even championship clubs are. Do you know what I mean? Certain championship clubs. Well, look what
let's go in the comments, because Stefan's in a comment. Hi, Stefan. Hope you well. No, Steve, I don't know if you come across Stefan in a chat before. Stefan's Ipswich fan. And he's actually a writer as well, but he also likes his heavy metal as well. So I think he's at our age as well, our generation as well.
Well, Stefan, I can tell I went to school in Ipswich in Holbrook, and I used to go and watch Ipswich Town every Saturday in the days of Mick Mills, Johnny Walk, Arnon Muren, wasn't it? And who was the other Dutch bloke we had? He was class. Paul Mariner was another one.
Well, John Burns was on about that era as well. John Burns was on about that era.
A great era that was for Ipswich.
Bobby Robson was the owner.
Yeah, Bobby Robson was the manager. They won the FA Cup in 1978, I believe. 77 or 78.
Alan Brazil was up front, wasn't he?
Alan Brazil played for him. But
did he win the UEFA Cup then, early 80s?
I think they did, yeah. It was Tyson. Tyson was the other Dutch bloke, wasn't he? Had Arnold Muren and Frank Tyson, I think his name was.
Frank Tyson. There was another one as well, wasn't there, I think? Because
they only had two Dutch.
Wasn't it the whole midfield? Bobby Robson preferred a non-English midfield. Was that right?
John Walk was in there, wasn't he?
I remember John Walk as a left back. I was in his later Ipswich days, scoring all them penalties.
He went on to Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah. He'll come back now. Stefan will
come back. Yeah, Stefan tell us anyway. But yeah, I used to go and watch it. Go watch it. Good club. My business partner's still an Ipswich fan now. Funny enough.
But so
it's got new owners. Funny enough, loads of money.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. Because, as you know, I can watch a podcast. A bloody, the audio podcasts which you can download and so on. The Price of Football was on about that Ipswich takeover, and it's not as clear as it may seem. Apparently, that's none
of them are these days.
Stefan says, "Good man, they were amazing days for Town. 81, they won a UEFA Cup. You're making me sentimental."
Yeah, but what year was the FA Cup? 78, wasn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It might be 76. Can't remember.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's 78.
Stefan, you can come back. Tell me, and I what 78 he says. And he said, he says Ipswich are going to join the Super League. Apparently,
well, they're American owners, aren't they? So you probably will be in there.
Stefan, just let me know what you think about John Bird's podcast, because I know that that was your era as well. Going on, Steve. Going on is can football fans they push it ever more now? Do you think?
I think it go back to normal, mate. I honestly think in the Premier League, what can they push for? What can a fan push for, really? To gang up on their board or whatever. It's not just one board, is it? It has to be against.
Yeah, but it's not that, Steve. Is it? It's not just the board, is it? Could there be government legislation regarding the price of tickets now? Let's be honest. Way COVID has bloody hurt people.
How can you cap a business? A Tory government can't turn round.
I know.
They can't tell me what.
That's what I.
Yeah, they can't tell me what price to sell a
wardrobe. Business party can't.
How can a government tell me what price to sell a wardrobe at?
Listen,
they can't.
When it's votes involved. But there's history. Boris Johnson has got history when he's London mayor of going down certain socialist bloody policies against the Tories to ensure that he actually gets the votes.
Illegal. Department of Trade and Industry being on that one.
So how come it's like for an away fan 30 quid maximum then?
Is it though? I don't
yeah. I'm sure that's legislation now. Because remember, a few years ago, an away fan it'd be more in the away end than it would in the home end. And I'm sure they've capped it.
Grounds, mate. I remember all you Cardiff fans moaning about the price of going to Leeds because Leeds was always a
Yeah,
high
I
team.
know. But
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure in the Premier League, for away fans, it's capped.
the
Guys in
Premier
the
League
chat,
now,
guys in
or
the
the
chat,
football
am I
Premier
right in
League?
saying that, or did I just dream it, or
I think you
have I
dreamt
drunk the night
it.
out?
I think you dreamt it.
I'm sure. Anyway, Stefan, come back. Only could listen to half. I'm so busy writing. Yeah, no worries. We'll listen to it. Yeah, no problem, mate. No worries. Hope your writing is going well, mate. I'll be honest with you. You must have loads of time in your hands with this COVID. You know,
What does he write? What do you write, Steph? What's he write?
Yeah, Stefan, what do you write? You know, Steve whips his workers into place 8 o'clock in the morning, so he's free for the rest of the day. I'm sure he can read a few of your books while all his slavery is going on. Yeah, but nothing as well just come up while while we had our lovers tiff, Steve, is the Euros.
Right.
Right now, for some reason, UEFA telling the line coming out of UEFA is that they are allowing supporters into these grounds. Now, surely it is up to the countries. If rumours, Italy is locked down again apparently. Wales are playing in Rome, aren't they? Wales are playing in Rome. So, UEFA are allowing 30% supporters into his grounds or whatever it is. Well, hang on. If the numbers in Italy go up, it's up to the Italian government. Surely, what UEFA thinking about?
It's no different to holidays, mate. It's no different to holidays, is it? Right? You take Spain and England, or Spain and the UK at the moment. The Spanish say, no, you can come in if you do this and you can come and do that. But hang on, Boris Johnson saying you can't go. Yeah. So it's no different, is it? So it's all in the air. Nobody knows.
And the way they've done it is ridiculous, Steve. The way they've done it is ridiculous. In all fairness to the UK, the way they're going about the vaccine, the numbers, banging them out. We can go on and on another show about whether you believe in a vaccine or whatever. But you know yourself, the vaccine numbers of you compared to the UK, ridiculous. Now the Euros are dotted all over the place. Wouldn't it just be sensible to say, look, we'll move it all, the competition, to the UK because they can get the numbers if they all get vaccinated, and it,
well, it comes down to money again. Yeah, but look at all the sponsorship that's already been set up for it, the money involved. Again, it's money, mate, isn't it?
But surely these contracts, some of these contracts, there would be certain clauses in just in case, I don't know. Because I heard there was a clause. No, Arsenal, the Cronkies, before it went live, they done the European Super League, right? They checked with their solicitors whether or not supporters groups could actually sue them for going into the UEFA Super League. My point being, before all these sponsorship kind of deals, Coca-Cola and all that, which UEFA would have done for the Euros, surely they would have done their due diligence, legal due diligence, just in case something happened.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? I'm not sure, mate. I wouldn't know on that one, to be honest. You would have thought so, but...
my first World Cup was Mexico 86. But it shouldn't have been held in Mexico 86. It should have been held in Colombia. But Colombia had an earthquake in 85. They held their hands up and they couldn't hold it. So because the stadia was already in Mexico from 1970, they moved it there. Surely you'd have a backup plan. That's what I don't know.
Mate.
I don't know.
The trouble is, at that level... You mentioned the word corruption. They're all corrupt, mate. It's all about who earns what. It's not about football. That's again the sad thing. The game's being taken away by money, mate. All those UEFA people, mate. We've seen it all before, haven't we? We know all the backhanders that go on, and it's all money. Everything's based on money.
Listen, Football with Brownie YouTube channel is open to certain brown envelopes.
Yeah, we'll take a couple. But until that, send us a £5 on PayPal so I can have a pint.
Yeah. Right, listen, I'm going. It's been nearly 3 hours. I love these conversations. I do love these conversations, guys. Basically, Steve has been trying to get me to do a live channel, a live stream ever since the collapse of the Super League. One thing or another because of timing, and I'll be honest with you, I was absolutely shattered from and my other work as well. Really tired. So today, tomorrow, Friday we can't do it. I'm going out on Friday, thankfully. I'm going Friday. I'm getting away from everything. But Steve, if it's okay with you, from next week onwards, we'll go back to a Friday night.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah,
people have been asking about you. People have been asking about you. And right, tomorrow the World of Football show is going to explore the past and present of Greek football. Steve, do you remember the glory years of Panathinaikos in the 70s? Because
not really, mate. Not really. Not
they
really.
got the European Cup final, didn't they?
I couldn't really tell you, mate. In the 70s, mate. In the 70s, I was only a young lad, and your focus then was on the first division, second division in the UK. European, you never really watched European football in them days, unless you supported the only European game. I remember 76, and because West Ham won the cup, we're in the Cup Winners' Cup. Okay, that was probably my introduction, 76, into European football, really.
Okay.
And I think we got through to the final, I think. But we lost the final. I was in school in Devon, I think, at the time. So
we'll definitely explore into the Euros in 2004 because that's one of the most extraordinary European champions win. Incredible when Greece won the Euros.
I watched that with Alan Pardew in the centre of Prague, mate. That one, me, Mojo, and Alan Pardew.
We'll go on the last final few comments from Stefan. He says, romance and ghost stories, Steve. That's what he writes.
Right, okay.
What odd times we're living in. They aren't having Euros spread out. So I've heard that as well, but that's not, I heard that is just rumour, not fact. Even AFTV is slagging the that's a change, I know. A brown envelope with my old copies of Fiesta is on its way, Brownie. remember the away trips to get Fiesta and everything else off the top
shelf of the bus.
Panathinaikos lost 2-0 to Ajax, Wembley 71. Now, something tells me that they beat Everton in the quarters. I think Everton won the league in 70. Something tells me Panathinaikos, and it was something dodgy going on, or rumoured to be something dodgy going on. Alan Ball was in that Everton team. And I need to do a bit of homework before the show tomorrow. But I remember they beat Swansea. Panathinaikos beat Swansea 9-0, didn't they? Right, I'm off. Steve, many thanks. Thank you for tonight. Oh yeah, Stefan says they beat Everton. Yeah, I thought so. Thank you very much for tonight, Steve. Guys.
See you later, bud. Ciao, mate.
Take care. I'll put you off and then I'll just finish the show off, mate. All right.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. We really enjoyed it tonight. Many thanks to Steve. It was a short notice. That will hopefully now be the last video regarding the European Super League for hopefully another 10 years. But it's really tired. It's tired me out, especially with everything else going on as well. John Burridge, a lovely guy. John, if you are watching this, thank you very much for your help, for your courtesy, and I will always be grateful. And fingers crossed we can get you on about your stories about how you ended up on Oman and everything else. I don't like doing it, guys, but tonight is it's nearly 3 hours. So check out the PayPal. Please subscribe. Now we've hit the watch hours now. So YouTube are happy with the watch hours. Over 4,000, no problem at all on that. Subscribers, they are going up. They're going up slower than what I'd like. A couple every day. Don't build up, I know, but the quicker we get to 1,000, the less I can stress out. Going forward, as I mentioned, tomorrow is the show, World Football Show. We talk about Greece and Greek football. Friday, I'm going to have a night off Friday. Probably will do a live stream in the day. And going forward, former Cardiff City captain and legend and Irish player, Graham Kavanagh has agreed to come on a podcast. Still, Fulham's all-time top goal scorer. Also played for Man City and Chelsea. Good old friend of mine, Gordon Davis. He will be coming on beginning of May. And my YouTube friend, which is one of my YouTube friends that I got a few now as the channel's getting more popular. But Flying Pig United, as I know him, Joe, he's also agreed to come on. Still trying to arrange a day and time and so on. You'll know the moment I know, and until next time, hasta luego. Many thanks. Please share, like, and subscribe. Get your mates to subscribe. Love you all. Good night, all. Bye bye.